Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And welcome into the Tuesday edition of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions, right here. Remember, FDIC, equal housing lender. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Joe Rexrode, welcome back to town. What's going on?
Yeah, good to be back. No glitching today, which will be good, and we'll try to work on the lip smacking.
I forgot about that, yeah. Apparently that's a big thing for you.
I think apparently.
One person on the text line is really interested
He's in my head.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, I don't know if we've talked about this, but Katie also says I have a lisp.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, this is a full 20 years, 21 years together argument.
I've never noticed that.
Do you think I have a lisp?
I don't think so.
Michelle?
Well, I think with certain words.
She's trying not to.
With certain words.
In case Katie's listening.
Katie.
No, okay, it's fine. No.
No, not really. I think I've noticed it in maybe like one or two words. I can't think of what they are, but how about this? If I notice it, I'll tell you.
I totally thought when I said that you guys would be like, oh, hell no, you don't have a list.
I've never heard.
Crap. Well, you got to tell me then what words.
Okay. I'll pay close
We
attention.
got a lot of issues here to work through.
Maybe so. It's going to turn into
okay,
like
I can't say the Titans.
a Joe Rexrode therapy session here for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Just working on just better yourself, Joe.
Yeah, but that's a good point. You got better at Titans.
I genuinely try so hard. Titans. I have issues, okay? I get it. Everybody's telling me it's something I'm working through.
Well, no, but you
Working through it.
Recently you have said it better. That was your old way. So
Yeah.
Titans is like so you say Titans and it's Titans.
Titans.
That's better. Right? Is that better?
That wouldn't
No? All right. Season's not over.
No, season's not over. Are you inspired after watching the Dan Campbell victory speech from inside the locker room with the Detroit Lions, who've now won 2 games this year, by the
My
way, and
goodness.
tied another one?
It's like, I mean.
It's like 2.5 wins.
You got to love that guy. That's right. You got to love that guy. Man, he needs to cut down. He needs to cut down the length on the victory speaches.
Well, he doesn't get to do it very often.
That's true. No, that's true. I mean, if you got 2 in an entire season, you might want to take 4 minutes to go through every play that just happened in the
It's like
game.
he's going through like a box score recap.
Yeah.
And on this 3rd and 6, did a really good job of picking up the blitz. Way to go.
Yeah, he really got detailed with that breakdown. But, man, he is going to, whether it's good or bad, and, you know, considering who he works for, probably won't be good, but it's going to be entertaining.
What a night last night in the NFL. 2 barn burners out there. The Raiders defeat the Browns 16-14, and the Vikings, in an all-timer, get it done against the Bears 17-9. Great games last night in the NFL.
So, by the way, that last TD, because, you know, it was like last play of the game,
Yeah.
Justin Fields, and that was what was the line?
I don't know.
Because I saw on Twitter because they didn't kick the PAT that they didn't cover. The Vikings covered.
That could be.
But my goodness, people who had money in the Bears who thought maybe at that moment
That they had a chance.
that they had finally pulled it out of the fire, and then it's like, yeah, okay, we're going to the locker room. We're not. I mean, why kick the PAT? You know.
What a disgusting football game that was. The Bears are. I mean, Matt Nagy. He's. I guess. I mean, you wait to the end of the season at this point, but he's done. Like he's getting fired.
Yeah, I would think so. You know, it's funny because I actually think Justin Fields, like a lot of what he did last night, I liked. I mean, he was accurate. He got the ball out, made some nice plays. Then you make some mistakes too. You know, like you don't protect the ball when you get outside the pocket, and made some big mistakes. Ultimately, they had a terrible night offensively against a bad D. But I actually think that Justin Fields has gotten better. It doesn't matter though. I mean, yeah, Matt Nagy he's toast, and I'm assuming Ryan Pace is too.
I would assume so. I mean,
So Porth,
it's probably time to clean house in there.
Porth is walking. I'm noticing all these like Bears tweets from Porth, and I'm like, oh, look at the Bears enthusiast, Ryan Porth.
Ryan Porth getting in there with the Bears.
That's right.
Great breakdown last night for Porth. Justin Fields, to me, is comparable to the first year or two of Marcus Mariota. Enough flashes of brilliance to get excited, Too much overthinking, way too many fumbles. Not much help around him offensively, most notably the line, and a disaster of a head coach. What do you think of that comparison?
Is that one tweet?
That's one tweet.
Wow. Way to take advantage of the 280 characters, Ryan Porth. That's a lot. That's a lot to unpack in one tweet. Boy, that's kind of tough, isn't it? That's kind of tough. You're going to do the Mariota comparison now?
I'm just telling you what he did.
He's tying Nashville and Chicago together in one tweet.
Bringing it in there.
Now, I think Justin Fields has a chance to be really good. I actually do. I mean, I don't think. I understand with Nagy. I mean, it's too much has gone wrong. I do like the fact that he tried everything he could to get thrown out of the game last night, and he did everything but just start shoving officials, and they were bad too. I mean, he had some beef on some of that stuff. They were bad. I'm
shocked that there's some NFL officials that did not perform well. Seems to be a consistent thing.
And they're better than the college.
They are. So. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive on that front. Joe, some good news, I hope, for the Titans yesterday. A.J. Brown designated to return from IR. Obviously, that would be a very welcome addition if they could get A.J. Brown back. Now, the question is, he's designated to return. It's a Thursday game this week. Can he get back quick enough to be ready for this game on Thursday? That's what you're keeping your eye out for this week.
Right. And obviously, I mean, it's not like this is, they knew the schedule. So it's not like it's like, oh, crap, we'll play Thursday.
Yeah, oh, my goodness.
AJ, we got to get ready faster, AJ. So it's been a process to get to here. So today will be a very telling day. Today will be the one day with a little bit of practice viewing. Obviously, with the short week, there's nothing media tomorrow.
Yep.
So it's all in the 2 days, first 2 days of the week. So, I expect him to be out there. It doesn't guarantee that he'll be activated. We've seen both things happen this year with the Titans. Designated to return, and then it's a week later. Designated to return, and then like Julio last week. Or Julio 2 weeks ago. I can't keep track of all of Julio's ins and outs of the lineup, but it just seems so important to have AJ back this week. I guess if you are Mike Vrabel, and I know that everything that's said to us is about whatever the opponent at hand is and everything, but if you're sitting there thinking, okay, is the 1 seed gone? You could look at this and say, you know what? We know if we win 2 games, we win the AFC South, we get a home game, let's win the Miami and Houston game for sure. And let's remember, Mike Vrabel has never lost a game with the extra rest.
Yep.
That's the Miami game. And then you go to Houston. Give me a freaking break.
Don't disrespect Davis Mills in front of me.
Well,
not this early in the morning.
I'm not disrespecting him. It may be a shootout. Davis Mills and Ryan Tannehill just going back and forth.
I can foresee a lot of great passes in that game.
Yes, just keep your head out of the clouds, okay? If you look at it that way, then it would kind of make sense. You know what? Why rush it? You got to have him for the postseason. Go out there and take your best shot at the Niners with this offense that is just right now bad, very bad. And, see if your defense can keep you in a game and you win a primetime game at home. And then if that's the case, well, then, you still have hopes of anything that you might want to chase. Obviously you have to win out to have any chance at the 1 seed. If you lose this game, you have the extra rest, and now you should be good to have A.J. Brown as full and healthy as you can have him for those 2 games that you really have to win.
Let's go to our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Our buddy Rick texting in on the text line, talking about our picks made over the weekend. Everything Robby picked was wrong again. LOL, better luck next year. I went 3-3. What are you talking about, Rick?
Come on, Rick. I had a good week, Rick. I hope you give me some love. Did Rick give me some love?
Joe had a couple of good NFL picks again. He's okay, I guess. There you go.
What about Michelle? Oh, that's right.
I'm scrolling up, and it looks like Rick likes my picks.
Yeah. Oh, Rick, there's so much to say. Like I don't know how to keep up with that. But Rick, we appreciate your participation on the text line.
Now I need to go read Rick. Is it a novel?
There's a lot there.
Okay.
Tyler from Berry Hill texting in. I've lost track, but is Chris Jackson done for the year?
No.
He's not.
That's a very timely guy to bring up. No, in fact, he's also designated to return just like A.J. Brown. So, meanwhile, and here's something to watch, by the way.
Yeah.
Elijah Molden on the COVID list. So, obviously a guy who's been starting and playing a lot of football for the Titans. He's on the reserve COVID list. So, keep an eye out for possible more names on that. But in the meantime, Chris Jackson could potentially just kind of swap in for him this week in the lineup. And, they need as much help as they can get him. They've had Maben out there. I think Buster Screen actually has done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Buster Screen has been a pretty handy pickup here. But Chris Jackson coming back would definitely help.
They put the injury report out yesterday for the Titans, which is, I guess, just a projection as to what it would be. Julio Jones not practicing with hamstring. Taylor Lewan on the injury report with a back injury as well. And the projection for him was did not practice. And also, David Long Jr. hamstring, still DNP. So a couple of notable things there. I think the Julio thing's not really much of a surprise. But Taylor Lewan with a back injury and David Long projection still not practicing with a hamstring. So that's not good.
No, the Long thing is, it's been a while.
Mystifying.
Here. Yeah, I mean, you're talking no IR, but you're talking, what are we talking about, 6 weeks now?
Yeah.
So, man, in the meantime, Zach Cunningham looks pretty good out there. But Lewan, we were talking a lot about that in the press box Sunday. Just, going into series and stuff. I mean, he is limping a lot. And I was like, so what is that? What is the limp? I mean, obviously you don't want it to be the knee that had the ACL repair, but back's not great either. He did talk after the game, kind of walking gingerly. I'd probably anticipate him to gear it up and get out there, but there's just one more guy banged up on that offensive line.
Tim on the text line. Good morning, guys. Does everyone have their coffee and chili dogs this morning? What a combo that would be. Coffee and chili dogs.
I have 2 coffees right now.
Michelle went the whole show yesterday with no coffee.
So
she powered through.
So it was seriously just emptying the thing?
I usually drink coffee before I get over here, so I'm a little bit more awake. And I was just running around, and then I went to go do the coffee, and it said empty it, and I couldn't get my brain to do it. And Robby can attest to this. I was so quiet yesterday.
She was.
I was just doing my job.
I looked up one time. I was like, is she asleep? What's going on over there? She's all good today. Got that coffee. She's energized.
2 large iced coffees right here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We're living.
Doubling down.
Yeah, no kidding. That's too bad. I actually could have helped. Like that's one of the things I can do. So, but at least I was freaked out. Well, yesterday I tweeted at you. I'm like, what do we need to do tomorrow?
We're going to fix this. Yeah.
But as for the chili dogs, though, I don't have any of those.
I'm not opposed. I don't know if 6:12 in the morning is quite right for that, but I've done worse, probably.
Yeah.
We're off and running here today on Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We'll continue to discuss the Titans injury report, whether or not A.J. Brown will be back this week, and if he's not, what in the world are the Titans doing offensively against this 49ers team? We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Quarterback sneak, and that's a Tennessee touchdown.
It's a quick turnaround for the Titans as they look to get back in their winning ways Thursday night against the 49ers.
There's guys out there competing, working, and fighting for each other.
We'll get you set up all week.
You've got to be able to throw the ball down the field to keep a defense honest.
On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Save up to 70% off Ashley Furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads of the best selection of furniture. Get your nightstands, mattresses, bar stools, sofas, and recliners. All on sale now. Come first for the best selection of furniture before it's gone. And you don't want to miss out. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
We've all had that dream. Tie game, bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. Well, on FanDuel Sportsbook, you get more than one shot to swing for the fences because FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free. That's right. New users get up to $1,000 back in-site credit if your first bet doesn't win. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is the top-ranked sportsbook app on Apple and Google Play. The app is simple to use. They've got great offers on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay, and always-on promotions to let you get more action out of every game day. And when you win, FanDuel will pay your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code PLAY to get in on the action. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code PLAY. 21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
If the Oral-B IO electric toothbrush had a theme song, this would be it.
I think you're gonna wanna see this.
Only IO combines Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head with gentle micro vibrations for a brushing experience even dentists have hailed as literally the best brush I've ever used. Get the wow of a professional clean feel every day with the IO from Oral-B, the #1 brand used by dentists.
You're gonna see what everybody's talking about.
Oral-B, brush like a pro.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
ESPN The Game Nashville and Newton Motor Group have teamed up this holiday season with Souls for Souls to help children in Middle Tennessee with Souls for Music City. Souls for Souls works with our schools and community partners to deliver new shoes to kids who need them the most. Newton Motor Group will be making a donation to Souls for Souls for every test drive at any of Newton Motor Group's 4 locations. You can help us achieve our goal of getting shoes to 100 kids in Nashville experiencing homelessness. For more information and to donate, visit theGameNashville.com/shoes. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Robby and Rexrode brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So, Joe, we talked a lot, obviously, about the Steelers game yesterday. The Titans have to change their attention and switch it pretty quickly this week with San Francisco coming in on Thursday. And it's interesting. You look at this San Francisco defense, I think they're number 12 against the run in the NFL, number 7 against the pass. So a strong defense that has gotten healthier this year and looks pretty good as of late as well. All eyes going to be on A.J. Brown this week to see whether or not he can be back in there. I guess my question for you is if it comes around this week and Thursday is just, it's too quick, he's not ready to go, there's no A.J. Brown out there for this game, what in the world do the Titans do realistically offensively against this team coming up this week? It's going to be rough if recent weeks are any indication.
Well, first, go ahead and start by not giving them the ball.
Be a good start.
That'd be a win in its own if you stop giving the other team the ball. Titans are what are they, next to last in the NFL now? I believe
so.
In giveaways with a juicy 25. They had 12 giveaways after 11 games?
Yeah.
I think that's correct. They had, after 9 games. Wait, oh my God, by math. After 10 games. Let's split the difference.
Split the middle. There you go.
They had 12 turnovers after 10 games. They had 13 in the next 4. Okay. And actually in 3 of them specifically. So start there. But, you are just... Now, there was a really good stat tweeted out yesterday. There's a lot of good stats. You get to some of those later on the Tannehill front. Tannehill has become the very hot, it's like he's the worst. You got to get rid of him to, that none of this is his fault. Look at whatever Brady did, like you have a nice Mariota-like argument brewing here. with Tannehill. But here's Mike Herndon.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. So here's Mike Herndon. Titans points per game by star availability. This is good. With Julio, AJ, and Derrick Henry, 26.8 points per game. With just AJ and Henry, 35.5 points per game. With just Julio and Henry, 25 points a game. With just AJ and Julio, 28 points a game. With just Derrick Henry, 24 points a game. With just AJ, 18 points a game. With just Julio, 16.5 points a game. And with none of them, 13 points a game. And they're looking like that's right. I mean, not just 13 points a game. It's like, they're scoring 13.
Yeah, it's like that's where
they
it
are
stops.
Scoring 13 points. So if the Titans, basically, if the Titans can hold the Niners to 12 Thursday,
be in good shape.
If they don't have AJ, then I like their chances.
That's going to be hard to do.
Because I think it's going to be much harder to run the ball. They just took on a defense that totally lived up to its reputation as soft in the middle.
Yep.
And ran all over it and still scored 13. So, it's so hard to make explosive plays right now, as we've talked about. And I don't anticipate a lot of explosive plays when you're taking on this pass rush, which is fearsome.
Wes in Clarksville texting in. They need to do the same game plan New England did to Buffalo. Run it every down and let the defense hold them if they don't make it. Don't let Tannehill have a chance to throw it. This is coming from Wes in Clarksville.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty solid all-around defense that, and the overall numbers for the defense are skewed a little bit by earlier in the year.
Yep.
They had a lot more injuries, and they were in bad shape as a team. I think they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL, like the Colts in the AFC. And
they're starting to look like they looked a couple years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl. Not quite to that level, but and look,
same idea though.
Same idea.
Same strength.
That's the same way they want to play. Now look, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he's all right, and he'll make some mistakes, and we'll get to the defensive part of this for the Titans a little bit later in the show. But defensively, they're going to get after you on Thursday, and you've got to have a plan to counteract that if you're the Titans. And running the ball every play, probably not a great plan.
Yeah, they can go back to the last game and add a few runs, take away a few passes, but you gotta have balance. It's just, you're going to have to dink and dunk your way. I don't know. Can you screen the heck out of them? You got get that screen game going. It's at this point, it's just limited. Now, A.J. Brown comes back. What does that mean? Well, it means that you can have some explosive plays by dinking and dunking. That's what he does. That's what he's done from day one in the NFL. Is he can turn those quick comebacks and hitches into 50-yard runs.
By the way, San Francisco favored by 3.5 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. 3.5-point favorite.
Has that been steadily moving up?
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't see what the opening line was, but yeah, I think that sounds about right.
And just FYI, the Cardinals favored by 2 against the Colts. So take that for what it's worth.
That's an interesting game.
Yeah.
That's a big game. And obviously the Titans, if it goes well this week for the Titans, they could be division champs as of Saturday night.
Yeah.
They could also be tied. Technically, tied.
It's quite the swing.
As of Saturday night. Yeah.
Could be quite the swing this week for the Titans. Remember, the magic number is 2. So any combination of, a Titans win brings it down to 1. Colts loss would bring it down as well. So you just need the magic number of 2 either way. So if you win this week and the Colts lose this week, dunzo. You win the division.
Yep. I don't think both things are going to happen. But we'll see. It's just the Niners right now, they're in the 6th spot. If you're for example, right now that matchup would be, 3-6 would be Niners at Tampa Bay. I don't want anything to do with that if I'm Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They're a dangerous and surging team. And they're just physical.
They are physical, and it's one of those things, too, where if A.J. Brown's not playing – look, even if A.J. Brown is playing, obviously, if A.J. Brown's playing, you're going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown a lot. We got the question 3 times on the text line yesterday. Who's the number 2 right now? Who is the number 2 wide receiver if A.J. Brown's healthy? it's probably Nick Westbrook-Akina, I guess, but
no doubt.
Beyond that, it gets a little hairy.
Yeah, Chester Rogers has done a fine job. Chester Rogers has been a good find, really good find. Is this the week Golden Tate? I mean, Vrabel keeps getting asked about Golden Tate. It's worth asking. They picked him up, but I'm reading the tea leaves on. You look at this receiving core. You look who's out there. Yeah. You look at the fact that he's not out there. I'd keep those expectations in check.
I mean, at this point, I'm going to be surprised if he plays. Like if he's not gotten in there yet, other than even more injuries to the receiver position, like I don't know why he'd be in there. Especially if he's playing. Like if you view him as a slot receiver, and Chester Rogers right now is your slot guy, I mean they're not putting him in there. At least I wouldn't think so.
Right. One of them was in the league this year. One of them wasn't. And Golden Tate has done them more, but that's what happens when you get older in this league. It's what we're looking at with this Titans offensive line. A lot of the same names, not the same performance.
Yeah.
That happens in the NFL. You get older. You get banged up.
By the way, on that front, Roger Saffold on the injury report yesterday projected as a full participant.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That is good. So that would be significant for sure to get him back in this game.
Tyler from Berry Hill texting in. They're going to have to use AJ like the Niners used Debo. Move him around, even put him in the backfield some if you have to. He can play.
They've done that.
Put him wherever you need to put him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like someone on the text line yesterday was like, well, great, so bring back AJ and then the defense will focus on him. I'm like, yeah, but so there you go. Now you actually have defenses worried about one of your players. Yeah. That helps you. It's a good thing for you because then the other players, should be able to make – I mean, right now defenses can just play the Titans basically straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, different coverages and all that stuff. But you don't have to really account for anyone right now. I mean, and if you don't have to account for anyone, and it makes it a lot easier to play defense.
That's a tough spot to be. We'll see if A.J. Brown can come back because if not, look, I've done this before I just don't see how the Titans are going to be able to pull this off. And they've done it, but this one kind of feels different. It just does. The way both teams are playing, the way this passing attack has looked as of late, if they don't have A.J. Brown in there with Julio Jones now I assume out Thursday, there's not much there, man, especially against that pass rush.
I mean, so 5 of 6 the Niners have won. Of course, they went through a terrible stretch. They lost that really good game to the Packers.
Yep.
They lost a tough one to the Cards. They got smoked at home by the Colts. But 5 of 6. I mean, they rolled the Rams 31-10. That was an eye opener. That one, the game at Cincy a couple weeks ago was to me a very impressive win. Cincy, Joe Burrow. I mean, that was a really good game.
Yep.
That told me something about this team, and they're still fighting for a playoff spot. I think they're going to get one, but they can't afford slip-ups either at 8-6.
I got a text that says it's crazy there's still like 13 teams in the hunt in the AFC. It's pretty nuts. It is pretty nuts what's going on in the AFC. We'll continue the discussion on the Titans. Switch gears to the other side of the ball. What do we think of Bud Dupree coming back in, and what does this mean for the Titans defense as they move forward down this final stretch of the regular season? All that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Titans.
Touchdown.
Niners.
Slicing for 6.
Nashville's team is back home for a primetime matchup against San Francisco. Tune in Thursday at 5 for NFL pregame from Boom Baz in East Nashville as Jared Stillman.
They'll still have a pretty good grasp on the division.
Chris Sanders.
Tannehill can't throw interceptions. The one thing that they've done is tackle well.
And Mark Howard get you ready on NFL pregame. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention Nice List recipients. The Mercedes-Benz Winter Event is here. Make this season your reason. Forget the halls, deck the garage. Hark, the turbo engines sing. Like hot cocoa in a blizzard, this opportunity won't last long. Hurry for these exclusive offers from Nashville's 2-time Best of the Best award-winning Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Just one exit from the airport. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Closing out on Ashley's Furniture with up to 70% off. First come, first served on the best selection of furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads after truckloads of furniture with 100 loads of closeouts, samples, canceled orders, and discounted orders of Ashley Furniture. All on sale here at Social Furniture. $300 nightstands now $99. $1,000 Ashley mattress now $300. $200 bar stools now for $59. $1,000 sofas now $499. And recliners starting at $299. The best part is there's no waiting. Take your new furniture home today with Social Furniture's same-day delivery. They have 12 months same as cash. Hurry up and come down to Social Furniture's end-of-the-year blowout sale before it's gone. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue or on the web at mysocialfurniture.com.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like reaching MVD status, most valuable driver. Because with Allstate's new lower auto rates, you score quality insurance and more dollars in your wallet. And that's worth celebrating. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Alabama versus Cincinnati.
Leonard Taylor, touchdown Cincinnati.
Michigan versus Georgia.
To the end zone, Kearis Jackson has got it.
Your exclusive home for the college football playoff semifinals on New Year's Eve is
ESPN
102.5 The Game, 94.9, and the Game Nashville app. Brought to you locally by 312 Pizza Company in Shermantown.
Hey Nashville, this is Penny Hardaway, University of Memphis coach. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Well, really just turning the ball over. I mean, unless you guys see something different, there's always things that we can correct, but really a lot of these things come down to our ability to take care of the football and finding ways to create turnovers. That's where, defensively we have to go. We have to, I love the mindset of going out there and playing defense wherever you have to, even if it's on our side of the field, and they did that, but we got the one turnover there. Unfortunately, had the penalty that came along with it. So, to me, it comes down to taking care of the football. I mean, that Captain Obvious, but that's really what it is. And trying to make sure that we're creating turnovers defensively. We're looking for opportunities to tip the football and catch it and hammer it out. Unfortunately, that's what Amani did, and it was an excellent play. It was what you guys see us practicing all the time. We just had an unfortunate penalty.
That was Mike Vrabel yesterday discussing turnovers. Obviously, that's a big point of emphasis right now for Mike Vrabel. Both offensively, stop having them, and defensively, cause more of them. That's the plan right now for the Titans when it comes to the turnovers on the field. We've seen it in the Jacksonville game. You have 4 picks. You don't turn the ball over. You win the game. Last 3 weeks, other than that, a lot of turnovers for this Titans team, and that's been the story as of late. So, obviously, this is the case every game. This is nothing different. The turnover battle going to be huge in this game coming up on Thursday. I think we all know that. I think that's the case in 99% of football games that are played. Defensively, you get a big boost the other day with Bud Dupree coming back in there. He didn't play every snap. Still, I guess, trying to work him back in the lineup. Overall, what did you think of the way Bud Dupree played on Sunday against Pittsburgh?
I thought it was encouraging. Yeah, I haven't seen the snap count, but they had him out there situationally.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Bless you, Joe.
That was a good mute. I obviously got the one sack, but I thought there were other times where he pushed the pocket pretty well and had some good rushes, and comes out of there fine. And that's you just got to keep building on that. Autry gets a sack.
Yep.
I thought Simmons actually was dominant in that game. Then you got like Naquan Jones too, by the way, who has been a heck of a find for the Titans. Michigan State legend Naquan Jones, but this is the ticket, and that group. And the guy that I just didn't notice a lot, and is he on the list or not? Is Landry?
I don't think he is. Let me go back and double check that.
You just in this particular game, you just didn't see a lot. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I don't think he's not on there. So that's good. So maybe he's past that, but get the whole thing working together like it was a few weeks ago. And that can make up for a lot of other ills for a football team.
It sure can. There were a couple of snaps in that game where Bud Dupree looked like a monster. I think he had a TFL in the backfield where he just bowled through people and got back there. I mean, look, you could tell he's pretty motivated to play in this game and got the sack on Ben Roethlisberger. It was good to see him do that. Obviously, hopefully he gets healthier as you move forward here and you see a little bit more of that because, we've seen it. And I know Bud Dupree, you could probably make a case he's not been at full strength at any point yet so far this year. But when he's been out there and all four of those guys on that front have been healthy and ready to go, it makes a pretty massive difference for this group. They're really good when all four of those guys are together.
Yeah. You think about watching T.J. Watt, who's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's another thing. By the way, Quessenberry's on there with a knee was limited yesterday, which that's the first time I think he's been on the report this year. But I've seen a lot of Quessenberry should have kept Dennis Kelly. First of all, T.J. Watt's going to make a lot of people look bad, so let's keep that in mind, okay? Like if Dennis Kelly was out there, he's finally been forced into action with the Packers.
He has. He's done fine.
Yeah.
On Sunday just got blown right around, and Aaron Rodgers got destroyed.
This is not some humongous difference or downgrade from Kelly to Quessenberry, but you think about Watt and a healthy Bud Dupree together. Boy, pretty scary.
It is.
I think Bud Dupree, it's possible if you want to think positively about what may be coming for the Titans. I know it's hard right now, but it's possible that his best football is ahead here, and that would make a huge difference. Obviously, even more than Julio Jones. Well, I don't know if it's more of an investment because you traded a second-round pick to also take on Julio's salary, but you are paying more to Bud Dupree. He's the big ticket, acquisition, and I don't think it's been disappointing. You knew he was coming off an ACL, but to have that pay off right now would be huge and is really needed by this team.
It's really needed, and look, this defensive front, really the defense as a whole, it's become the strength of this football team, which is really incredible to think about. Think about the conversations we were having heading into this season, not only about the Titans' offense and what we thought it could be, but about the defense. I think we both agreed and thought that there was no way the defense was going to be as bad as it was last year, just based sheerly off numbers. It's got to get better. They have, at times this year, they've been better than I ever thought they could be. They've been really good at times this year. And whether it's forcing turnovers from Kevin Byard or all of a sudden, especially if David Long Jr. can ever get back, you got some pretty good depth at linebacker, the front, the pass rush has been good, the third down defense has been good. All of a sudden, you're looking around, and I don't think there's any question about it. The strength of this football team right now is their defense, which is amazing. I never thought I'd say that in 2021.
No way. They're ninth in total defense. They're second in rush defense. Third down, remember, the worst D ever last year? They're 11th. 37.4 is what they're giving up. Red zone, they're 8th. They're across the board. They're top half. Basically, the only thing that they're not top half of the league in is fourth down percentage. They give up 61%. But by the way, that red zone D, which is, of course, so much turnovers in red zone, Niners, first in the league in red zone offense percentage, 73.81%. So, yeah, they're physical. They run it. And Kyle Shanahan is, he's a creative offensive mind. He's part of the McVay mafia. And although, he got the head coach job first. And they're very good. They're creative and physical. And they've got a tight end who is a problem.
He is a problem. They've got a fullback that's a problem, too.
Yes.
I mean, he is that sounds crazy, but part of that red zone offense you talked about is turn around and hand the ball off to him because he's an absolute load. He's almost impossible to bring down on the first try.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine if they could get Taysom Hill.
Oh, man.
They'd be maybe the best offense ever. But in the meantime, pretty good.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Got more people asking about David Long Jr. Still on the injury report. I mean, I guess today's a big day on that front, too. Is there any way he gets out on the field? I would assume no, but I guess we'll find out.
6 weeks, no IR. Again, I've got to think there was a setback. But no, there's no indication he's coming back for this game.
I got a texter that says, I've got to say this. I called it before the season even started. Top 10 defense. Go back and look at my first text messages to y'all. It's lying. It's not in there. Or it's in there. There you go.
Who is this?
There's no name.
Well, tell us your name. Nice.
This is the same. Well, this is the same person who talks about your smacking lips.
Good call.
Good call.
Liam. That's Liam then.
It's not Liam.
Oh, it's not Liam?
No. It's no name.
So there's multiple complainers about my smacking lips?
I've only seen this person. I've never seen Liam complain about your smacking lips.
All right. Sorry.
Liam loves you.
Okay. I'm sorry, Liam.
We'll continue the discussion on the Titans defense and Joe Rexrode's lips when we come back. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Should start to see skies clearing out from west to east this afternoon as temperatures head to the upper 40s and lower 50s. Cool times return tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you interested in starting your own business? Join the Blink Law Entrepreneur Summit on February 2nd for their one-day event to help anyone start a business. Not only will you hear from experienced entrepreneurs from a variety of fields, but all attendees will also get a one-on-one consultation with an attorney who will register your business. You will leave the event with certified documents and an officially registered business. This is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to jumpstart a new business. For more information and to register, go to facebook.com/BlinkLawLLC.
This holiday season at Genesis Diamonds, a spectacular selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rivers, and I have been a Rolex expert for a very long time.
Nashville's Charlie Rivers invites you to see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces in Tennessee.
I have never seen so many luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in one spot.
Genesis has Sea Dwellers, Datejusts, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, Air Kings, hand-selected premium timepieces in pristine condition. Watches you can't find anywhere else for men and women.
I'm so excited that I can finally give my customers what they want.
And at Genesis, there are no wait lists and no minimum spend requirements. Nothing stands in the way of you and your dream timepiece.
Come say hi, and I will help you find the perfect luxury pre-owned Rolex you've been dreaming of.
Come reward yourself or someone you love this Christmas with a luxury pre-owned Rolex. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game studio here on this Tuesday morning. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezevic here with you, talking Titans, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Brian in Portland texting in. I think the Buster Skrine has been a really underrated free agency pickup in the middle of the year. He's done a really good job, and I think it needs to be Christian Fulton, Buster Skrine, and Elijah Molden as the top 3 corners. The Elijah Molden part of it looking like it's in doubt for this game with him going on the COVID list. But I agree, Buster Skrine done a pretty nice job so far.
I think you can make a case. Janoris Jenkins is back this week, or at least on the injury report, it's a more encouraging. He's back in practice, or again, remember yesterday is projected,
right?
But still, full participation projection. I think you make a case that Skrine could keep that job. I don't know. That's a really interesting decision. I'd still guess that Jenkins would get back out there, but Skrine he's been good. I think he's got a case.
Your buddy Liam texting in. I haven't been watching the Niners lately. Does Garoppolo not suck anymore? Also, I've never noticed any smacking lips. I think you're doing great. Though, do a COVID test maybe based on that last cough. Did you have a tough cough there? I missed that one.
Well, I had a sneeze.
Okay.
Well, for the record, I get COVID tested all the time.
That is true.
You cover the NFL. Yes, it's in fact. I mean, I'm getting my booster today. Late getting it. But that's you can't cover the playoffs without a booster.
Yep.
By the way, in the NFL, as far as Garoppolo, well, they're first in the NFL in passing yards per play, 7.94, 13th in passing yards per game. And when I've watched him, he's been good. I mean, they run the ball. They got different guys who can run the ball.
They do play action.
They do some real nice bootleg. I mean, they're a good team.
Got a pretty nice tight end out there.
He's not bad, Mr. Kittle, and and Debo also is he's a good player, and Juwan Jennings, by the way,
touchdown last week too.
Touchdown. He also had like the big block in the winner at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Good to see him.
Vandy fan favorite, Juwan Jennings out there.
That's right, yes. Man, Jimmy Wyatt, man.
By the way, I think Wes Rucker pointed this out. Like, you watch Marquez Callaway and Juwan Jennings be very productive their entire college career and in the SEC. And Juwan Jennings get drafted in like the 6th round, and Marquez Callaway didn't get drafted at all. I'm like, I think both of you and I looked at each other and was like, that's pretty weird. They didn't get drafted. Both those guys look pretty good right now in the NFL.
They do. No, they do. Yeah, and well, look at what Josh Palmer's doing too.
Yeah.
It's also been a little bit of like, wow, Tennessee has had some good players in this not very good overall stretch of football.
Yes, they have.
But like the Niners, you've got you also have had like the Trey Lance thing where you can throw him in a little bit. But like Debo is their second leading rusher. 39 carries.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel for 269, 7 yards a pop. They do a lot of stuff with him.
He's fun to watch,
It's very
man.
creative, and obviously Elijah Mitchell has been a revelation for them. So they there's just a lot of things about them that it's just very solid.
I got a texture that says, now I wish we had the Jets, Texans, and Steelers game. We'd have division locked in and would be way ahead in the AFC race. It is amazing. Like, you've beaten the Rams, beaten the Chiefs, you've beaten the Bills. I mean, just take out the Steelers game for a second. You take care of business against the Jets and the Texans, and you are sitting pretty right now if you're the Tennessee Titans. Very pretty.
Yeah, you are. You could go through the rest of the conference and probably find a game,
at
least for everybody, that's like, oh, how did you lose that one? But Yeah, to have two, and then really, I mean, I do put the Steelers game in very much in the category of, man, you should not have lost that game.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't have lost that game. But you won some games you shouldn't have, and you're still in good position. I mean, through all this stuff, you're 9-5. You're the 3 seed. You're still in great shape to win your division, and could be much worse.
Roy on YouTube says, we do good in these short weeks on big-time games. I'm staying hopeful against the Niners. As Corey pointed out yesterday, Corey Curtis, this does feel like a Mike Vrabel type game of, all right, you just had an awful performance, especially in the second half offensively. There's going to be a lot of people picking the Niners in this game. I can just go ahead and tell you. Niners are favored in this game. This does have the ingredients of potentially another Mike Vrabel special. I'm just looking, especially if A.J. Brown can't go, like I'm looking at that offense like I don't know where the points are coming from. I just don't know.
Yeah. But, yeah, look, Titans, you tell me right now the Titans are going to come out and rise up with a great performance and win the game. There's no shock. There should be no shock in anyone's face. But I think I feel about the same way you do. It just feels like they might just get thumped. Just because the Niners are playing really well, and yeah, the Titans the offense is just a real problem. It's just beyond the turnovers. They ran the ball very well Sunday, but just the inability to pass the ball is a real problem, and the inability to protect and the whole thing. Until you got 2-star players, take them out of most teams, and you're going to have issues. You just saw the Bucs, and by the way, that really stinks that Godwin has an ACL.
Yep.
And by the way, Antonio Brown,
he's we just kind of feel like it's best for our team. Get Antonio Brown back in there.
Well, Bruce Arians was asked about, you said if he does one more thing, he's out of there. He's like, well, the history's changed since then. Yeah,
How about when he punched somebody in the training camp practice with the Titans?
Oh,
He's like, I didn't see it happen.
I forgot about that one.
I went off on that. That really irked me.
Yeah.
So Antonio Brown,
he's back, but you see, with that team, you take out your playmakers and you don't make plays. The Titans are lacking sorely right there.
JP from Spring Hill texting in. Before the season, I predicted 10 sacks for Jeff Simmons, and you guys thought I was crazy. LOL. Looking like it could happen. He does have 7.5, so he would need 2.5. Look at that math in the last 3 games here. But either way, it's been a pretty awesome season for Jeffrey Simmons. JP, shout out. I remember that. I remember him texting in that.
Yeah. No, that's whether he gets it or not, he's been really good. And yeah, actually, I think he initially was given a half sack on one of the early sacks, but then he didn't. They changed it to what you got there.
Ron texting in. So if we lose Thursday and somehow lose the AFC South title but make the playoffs by wild card, does that deserve a firing on the coaching staff?
Sure. People want blood, man. People want blood when they're.
I guess my question, like, who are you gonna fire?
Yeah, can we? Is it just?
I know what the answer would be. Everybody's gonna say, "Well, Todd Downing." That's who you'd fire.
Is it like spin the bottle, where you're just like, okay, there you go.
I don't know. Look,
Craig Ackerman's
Craig Ackerman's been in Jared's crosshairs for like 3 years now. It's a pretty good day for special teams the other day.
That's true. The kicking game was not the problem Sunday. Like Todd Downing, is he? Todd Downing has not been as good an OC as Arthur Smith. I feel good.
I don't think there's any question about that.
I feel good. Now,
I guess my question for you, like, how do you judge Todd Downing this year, though? No one's been on the field.
Is it not the same as Ryan Tannehill to some extent? To some extent,
yeah.
Yeah,
I think you could say both have to be better, right? Like, Todd Downing's going to have to be better. Ryan Tannehill's going to have to be better. But at the end of the day, like, in terms of firing someone, you look around, like, if I'm Todd Downing and we're talking through this, I'm like, Derrick Henry's out half the year, more than half the year. Julio Jones was nothing. A.J. Brown's out half the year. What do you want me to do?
Right.
Got an offensive line can't block.
There's been some weeks. Oh, exactly. Just about anything you could actually draw up to go wrong, it has gone wrong. I think in some weeks I've been impressed. I think Todd Downing's had some really good weeks. He's had some bad weeks. He just had a bad week. But it's that job right now can't be easy because you are trying to scratch out passing production. And you're like, okay, can my quarterback set up? Look, they've figured out a way to run the ball. They're running the ball well. Now, can they do that Thursday? I don't know.
Ryan in Nashville texting in, losing Marcus Johnson hurt. Can't believe I'm saying this, but Des Fitzpatrick might be needed to give us a vertical threat in addition to AJ being back. What do you think about that? Des Fitzpatrick throwing it down the field.
Well, the vertical threat who's available is Racey McMath.
Yep.
And it's interesting because he was out there a little bit and more when Julio went out, of course. But I was surprised we didn't see a shot to him. But that's who I could envision a shot going to at some point here. And it's worth a shot.
Eric and Lyndon texting in, after playing close attention, Joe does smack his lips quite a bit, LOL.
What?
We now have two on the text line.
I don't think I do.
I've literally, not one time have I noticed this.
Now I'm just
not once.
I'm just going to have my mouth open the whole time, so there's no chance of smacking my lips.
William and Madison texting in, I always thought the Titans would win this game because the 49ers traveling across the country on a short week 2 days before Christmas. Now, I'm not so sure. This is coming from William and Madison.
Yeah.
There is that part of the game that, it's a short week. You're traveling across the country if you're the Niners. I mean, that's not a non-factor in this game for sure.
Right.
I think it's easy if you're a Titans fan to view it a little bit differently after what we just saw on Sunday against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and the Niners, they just did the I guess that was a later game. That's the one stat, whatever it is, but like the Pacific time teams that go to the Eastern zone and play the 1 p.m. or like the noon kicks, very bad record. They did just go to Cincinnati and come over here and beat Cincinnati. It's a factor, but both of these teams are coming off the short week, and the Niners are just playing really good football right now.
Coming up next, we will get back into the Titans and specifically into Ryan Tannehill. Lots of conversation around the Titans quarterback. What do we think of what we've seen from him, and is the information that Joe Rexrode is going to throw out there valid, or is it excuse-making? We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
274 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. You're not going to win a game that way.
The voice of the fan.
I'm tired of let's just give it to a quarterback.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
These are battles, these are grinds. We don't panic, we don't freak out. That's how we're built. 1, 2, 3, 9.
This is the drive to the playoffs. Brought to you by Coleman Tractor on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A quick turnaround this week for Tennessee as they prep for the 49ers to come to Nashville this Thursday. A.J. Brown is designated to return from IR, but the big question is, will he be back for the game on Thursday? Mike Vrabel said on Monday that with the short week, they need to be efficient in practice.
When you lose late in the year, that's kind of what happens. And so you have to be playing your best football late in the year. We got a short week. We're starting today. We've obviously, the coaches and everybody get going. We got to get these guys back mentally and physically. This will be a huge week to try to improve mentally. Won't be able to do much physically. And you got to prepare to win a game against a great opponent, a great challenge who's won 5 of their last 6 games.
Vrabel also said they need to focus on ball security this week.
Understand that it's everybody's responsibility to get as many guys near the ball, around the pile that you possibly can. Taking care of it, using fundamentals. When it's loose and you're in zone coverage, we know that everybody's taught to vice tackle. There's a guy coming inside, there's a guy coming outside. Understanding not reaching the ball, at the goal line on those things, that if it's not 4th down or all those fundamentals that we preach and practice. But it's everybody's responsibility to take care of the football or the guy who has it. Whether that's the quarterback in the pocket, a runner that's running with it, or a receiver, everybody's job is to try to protect that guy and to protect the football.
Today, Mike Vrabel will speak to the media at 1 p.m., followed by specific players, and a final injury report will be out tomorrow. I'm Michelle Knesvik with your drive to the playoffs on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The holidays are here, and FanDuel Sportsbook has a gift for all new customers. No, not a new pair of slippers. They're talking about 30-1 odds on any Christmas Day NBA or NFL game. Just sign up for the Sportsbook and bet on any team to win any of the 7 marquee matchups taking place on Christmas. And if your bet wins, you'll be paid 30 times your wager. Feeling pretty good about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers taking on the Cleveland Browns. There's no better way to bet the college football playoff than on America's #1 sportsbook. It's simple to use with the app, and it's got great new offers every single day. And when you win, FanDuel will pay your winnings in as little as 2 hours. Don't miss your chance to win $150 on a $5 bet. Sign up with the promo code JGM to plus your first bet risk-free on the FanDuel Sportsbook app for any wager for NBA or NFL Christmas Day games for exclusive 30-1 odds. Again, that is a gift from FanDuel with promo code JGM. 21 and older in present Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Boomba's Craft Pizza and Tap House invites you to join them for all this year's college football bowl game and playoff action. Bama, Cincy, Georgia, or Michigan, who will win it all? Boomba's has countless big screen TVs and a huge video wall to watch it all go down. Enjoy their 2-time award-winning best pizza in America, featured on the Food Network, and 100% crafted for you. Wash it all down with their award-winning happy hour with $2 Boom Brews and select domestic pints. Locations in Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, and East Nashville. Pizza, beer, sports. See you there, Nashville.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fansville, a college football utopia. Fansville. Where the lakes are stocked with ice-cold Dr. Pepper, and the autumn winds rustle with the sweet smell of football glory. And Dr. Pepper. It's a land flowing with onion dip, where even the food pyramid is shaped like a hot dog. Footlong. Where every yard gained is a yard worth celebrating, and every celebration is beyond excessive. With ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Return to glory this season with Fansville by Dr. Pepper. Grab some today.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's Robby and Rexrode with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, hour number 2 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions, right here. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knesvik here with you on this Tuesday morning, taking your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, lots of discussion really every week, but this week so far especially around Ryan Tannehill and this Titans offense. Another bad game for the Titans offense trying to pass the ball. 37 yards in the second half on Sunday passing the balls, which the more I think about it, it's pretty incredible. 37 yards passing the ball. That's quite something in today's NFL.
That is. That's hard to do. Again, and the fact that you throw it 32 times and you get a total, it's just, the only options are, well, unless you hit a couple, you hit those big plays, it changes, but if you don't, it's just Dink City, and that's all they've got right now.
Now, you and I have talked a lot about Ryan Tannehill this year, and I think everybody at least should acknowledge that when you take away A.J. Brown, Julio Jones is a non-factor. You don't have Derrick Henry, and your offensive line, as we'll point out here in a minute, the pass blocking numbers and the stats on the offensive line are not good. It's not a good pass blocking offensive line. All of that, obviously, is going to have an effect on Ryan Tannehill. I guess my question for you is, even with that in mind, how much blame for what we're seeing right now goes on Tannehill, and how much of it is just what do you expect the guy to do when everything around him is happening the way it's unfolding right now?
Yeah, well, and I don't know, but there are some interesting stats. I mean, I'd say I'm definitely on that scale. I'm more on the side of I think we've seen a pretty good sampling of what Ryan Tannehill is when things are going well around him, and he was part of things going well. I think I'd say he's kind of important, and he's been disappointing this year. But there's some interesting numbers out here. So Computer Cowboy is someone I work with at The Athletic.
Great name.
Yes, it is a great name. His name is actually Ben Baldwin, but his handle's Computer Cowboy.
It's better.
And he's got a lot of, he's an NFL advanced stats guy, and these stats are valid. They're not made up stats. There's a lot of really good valid stats here that people go by. Analytics departments are created, and these things are taken into account. One, EPA is expected points added. Okay, so that's one of those. Essentially, you're trying to figure these things out. Okay, how much is on the QB? How much is on everybody else? So Tannehill he is top 10. Let's see, it's Stafford, Mahomes. You got Winston, Herbert, Rodgers, Garoppolo, Brady, Murray, Wentz, Josh Allen. So he's, look at me counting, 10th in EPA, which is when adjusted for fumbles after the catch and drops, okay? What does that mean to you? Well, it may not mean much, but it's an interesting stat. And Ben, or Computer Cowboy, tweets, this tweet caught my eye yesterday. He says, quote, the Titans have a bottom 3 pass blocking offensive line, bottom 3, and Tannehill has lost the most EPA per play due to drops among full-time starters. Just a remarkably bad offensive situation, end quote. So, I mean, and honestly, I don't even feel like we've talked a lot about drops, but they have been kind of bad this year.
Yeah.
When you think about it, right? With some surprising drops. And then obviously you got fumbles too. Okay, so there's one aspect. And as far as the pass block, I mean, whatever you want to do. If you want to do traditional stats, the Titans are 5th worst in the NFL. They've given up 41. Again, they gave up 25 sacks last year. They've given up 41 this year. There's a massive difference in pass protection. They are 28th in the league in sacks per pass attempt, 9.01%. So by any measure, they are right around the bottom of the league. Now, there is a question, is Tannehill, how much is he responsible for? I mean, then that's a fair question. I think there have been times this year where he holds on to it. And, I mean, you can look at him. I thought in the Jets game a few times, as bad as the protection was, there are also some moments where it's like, just get rid of it and come to the next play, and it's 3rd and 10 rather than 3rd and 17.
You can make the argument on the first play of the game for the Titans offensively held on the ball too long.
Yes, for sure. So now Football and Other F Words pod, and of course they're on the Broadway Sports universe. They've also got some interesting stats that came out around Tannehill. So one is the own pressures allowed, okay? This is Next Gen stats. Next Gen has a lot of stuff like this, and it's a thread about is Tannehill creating his own misery. The own pressures allowed this year, Mahomes is number 1, and it's funny when you think about that. When you think about the Titans game, great pass rush. There were also, he ran himself into problems at times of that game. So he's number 1 in the league, in it's on him when the pressure happens. 38 is a lot. Tannehill is tied for 34th in the league at 5. So, these are stuff like this is, we make fun of Pro Football Focus because I think grading someone after a game is stupid.
Yep.
But, these are things that you can, now it's still subjective. Okay, is it really on him? Is it really not on him? But I think there's some value in these things. And you can time things. So here's a stat. Among QBs with a minimum of 300 dropbacks, he has 2.5 seconds or less in the pocket on 52.8% of his dropbacks. That's 7th highest percentage in the NFL. Again, it matches up with everything else. It matches up with sack percentage, sack total. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to throw. He's experienced collapsing pocket a ton. And then also, here's another stat. on Next Gen, which is separation, okay, by pass catchers. And this is interesting. Average separation, Rodgers and Westbrook-Ikine are tied for 72nd in the league, 2.9.
In the top 100.
A.J. Brown's 98th at 2.6. Julio's 116th at 2.4. So, I mean, we saw A.J. Brown this year.
So is that trying to tell me A.J. Brown can't get open?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, wait a minute, that doesn't totally make sense. But I think that the separation issues, receivers getting open issues, that was a huge part of the Jets game too. I mean, Josh Reynolds was their de facto number one receiver in that game. And it just there's a lot of problems. So you can take all this stuff and look at the injuries, and you can say, what is Ryan Tannehill supposed to do? I mean, yesterday a lot of people were angry, like, quit sugarcoating Tannehill. I'm not all the way on the side of this is not on him at all. I don't think that's true. The quarterback always gets more credit and more blame than a quarterback should, but that's why they get paid $30 million, because you need them at times to elevate. They can't always do it. We just saw Tom Brady unable to do it in one game, but Tannehill, I think, has been adversely affected by this, and he's got to be better. The idea that this is now all of a sudden we've all come to realize that Tannehill actually stinks. Yeah, I don't think that's a sound conclusion at all.
Well, I think what we have learned is, and I don't think this is some gigantic revelation that separates him from most quarterbacks in the league. I think we've seen Ryan Tannehill is very good when the situation around him is very good. Like I think that is very common in this league. And when the situation around him is not good, he doesn't look so good. I mean, I think outside of maybe 4 or 5 guys, that's what the situation is in the NFL for the most part.
It is, but does it make you think? Has this made you think differently about him? What tier he's in? What he did the last 2 years?
Well, it doesn't make me necessarily feel differently about what he did the last 2 years. And I've said this before, and we've talked about this even last year. I mean, the conversation we had last year was, all right, who deserves more credit for this Titans offense? Is it Derrick Henry or is it Ryan Tannehill? I think we pretty clearly know the answer now. Like, that to me is no longer a question. It's Derrick Henry. So I think we've learned, and I think a lot of us knew this, Derrick Henry is the most important piece to this Titans offense. What this has done, I think, has highlighted even more how important Derrick Henry is to this Titans offense. I knew he was important. Now he is vital to this offense. I mean, they're not good without him. They're not. So yeah. I think that's what it's really highlighted. But no, it doesn't make me feel any differently about what I've seen the last 2 years prior to this one. He needs the situation around him to be good in order to play really, really well. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what most quarterbacks in this league are. I did say yesterday, though, I like you, have probably operated under the assumption that he is a Tier 2 quarterback. We've talked about Tannehill in the top 10. Like, is Tannehill a top 10 quarterback? And he's certainly not playing like it this year. I don't think there's any question about that. So I feel differently from that regard. Maybe he is a Tier 3 quarterback. But, again, there are so many ways you can go with this. I fully believe Ryan Tannehill's got to be better. I think there have been too many times this year where even with the situation, he has hurt the team rather than pulled them along with him and helped. I also recognize that the situation around him right now is atrocious, and there's only so much he's going to be able to do.
So what about moving forward? Because I'm hearing this now. You're not getting away, by the way. Anybody who's like, I mean, I got commenters like, got to go get Rodgers. Like, you are paying Tannehill next year. Like, yeah, like 30 minutes. I haven't even thought about it because he's on the books next year. Like, you can't get out of it. But do you feel differently about what that means?
Well, if you told me right now that Derrick Henry was Derrick Henry again and A.J. Brown could stay healthy and they figure out somebody can pass block on the offensive line, then no, I feel fine with Tannehill. But I feel differently about the group as a whole than I did based on Derrick Henry's injury. The offensive line's getting older. Right now it's already not good at pass blocking. And, oh, by the way, you might not have a couple of guys on the offensive line next year. There are way more questions around Tannehill right now that make me feel worse about the offense moving forward than just strictly Tannehill at this point.
Yeah, I would say the biggest surprise to me, I would have guessed Tannehill would have done better even in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
But I still think the biggest surprise to me is the offensive line. I mean, even understanding that Lewan was coming back from an ACL, and I think Lewan's been pretty good in recent stretches, but just the overall just performance has that I would not have guessed at all that they would be bottom of the league in pass pro.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans offense on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Breaking news. The Nashville Predators have had their next 3 games postponed due to COVID and will be shut down at least through the end of the NHL's holiday break on December 26th. Keep it locked here for the latest from Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Are you worried about your holiday shopping and your gift arriving in time? The Omni Nashville Hotel has a great idea for you. How about gift cards to their world-renowned Mocara Spa or Nashville's fine dining favorite Bob's Steak and Chop House? Surprise your loved ones and friends with this special gift idea and take out the hustle and bustle of fighting traffic and long lines this holiday season. Simply go to OmniNashvilleHotel.com to purchase your gift cards. That's OmniNashvilleHotel.com for gift cards to Mocara Spa or Bob's Steak and Chop House.
Response to Genesis Diamond's fantastic 12 days finance offer was incredible, so we've decided to extend it through Christmas Eve. Last minute shoppers, we're taking care of you at Genesis. You can come in now and get 5 years, 0 interest financing on any holiday purchase. All fashion jewelry is included, all colored gemstone jewelry, and yes, all diamond jewelry, including engagement rings. Get a $12,000 designer ring with a GIA center diamond and pay just $200 a month with 0 down. Or watch her eyes sparkle when she sees that $6,000 pair of diamond earrings you got for just $100 a month. At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is our specialty, and there's no better time than the holidays to let us help you show your love in a meaningful way. Don't miss this special extended 5 years, 0 interest finance offer. Now through Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit, see store for details.
Touchdown, Boilermakers! Witness tomorrow's NFL stars this month at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
First down, hand off, tailback, right up the middle to the 30. He's out of here. 20, to the 10, crank up Rocky Top. Touchdown, right up the middle.
Don't miss a second as Tennessee and Purdue, 2 of college football's top programs, go head-to-head on Thursday, December 30th at 2 p.m. inside Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
This holiday season, give the gift of Craftsman tools at Lowe's. With a heritage of performance and reliability, Craftsman is the perfect gift for the project people on your list. There's something for every builder, fixer, and creator you know. Choose from power tools, outdoor power equipment, mechanics tools, tool storage, and more. Shop in-store, online, or through our app, because there are more ways to holiday at Lowe's. And a gift from Lowe's is a gift that leads to more. U.S. only.
Hey, this is Bomani Jones. What's your favorite podcast? Let me tell you why that'll be number 2 after you listen to mine. 3 times a week, I'm going to challenge you to keep up with me as I discuss topics from the latest in technology and music, and people getting dunked on. Also, you'll get the very best analysis of the games, and we watch them with encyclopedic level historical connection. Plus, we have got a community of guests that you'll feel like are your closest friends in no time. Listen and subscribe to The Right Time with Bomani Jones Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Welcome back in here on Robby and Rexrode, ESPN 102.5 The Game. We're being rickrolled by Michelle right now. It's good stuff. What a jam.
Oh, yes. Great video in the 80s, too.
Maybe the best video.
The Atlanta Hawks did a mashup version of Kevin Huerter and this guy because they're both red hairs. And when he went redheaded, when he went off in the, I think it was like late in the playoffs last year or something.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'll send it to you guys.
I think I remember that.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Talking Titans, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. 1025. Let's go to our 1025 The Game phone line and welcome in James from Murfreesboro. James, thanks for calling in.
Morning, guys. I wanted to address this topic of Henry versus Tannehill, and it shouldn't shock anybody because we saw a couple of years ago when Henry was starting to develop into the weapon that he is, that JR purposely went out and built an offense that was centered around a dominant running back, with the offensive linemen he picked, with the tight ends he picked, with really the weapons on the outside. Everyone that he picked were run blockers, not really excelled other outside of A.J. Brown as true go-get-it pass players. And we see that now when Henry's out. We still have a good running game, but there is no ability for that play action because we don't have a runner who's as dominant as Henry was, which comes to the argument of Tannehill versus Tom Brady. Even if Tom Brady was here right now, which I think he chose to go to Tampa Bay because they were already built as a passing offense, he wouldn't be really more successful now than Tannehill is because this is not a passing offense. It was not built to be a passing offense. JR built this as a dominant running offense without the knowledge that he was going to lose his most dominant player in Henry.
Hey, thanks for the call, James. We appreciate it. What do you think of that, Rexrode, of the way the offense is built lends itself to being more dominant because of the running back?
I mean, I think there's some truth to that. I think obviously the end of the 18 season going into 19, they realized what they had in Henry.
Yeah.
So a lot of the pieces who are still here were already there. Let's not forget when they fired Mike Mularkey, what was it about? It was about got to have a more modernized passing offense, got to have an OC who can develop Mariota into what he should be in this league, more RPOs, all that stuff, right? And then Vrabel came in. If Vrabel didn't come in and say, you know what, we are going to mash people, we are, half the questions for Vrabel's intro presser were about what are you going to do to turn Mariota into a great player? What can you modernize this Terry Robisky offense? Blah, 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 right? Matt LaFleur, come on in. Boy wonder Matt LaFleur, okay? Then they realize what they have in Henry. So, you go fast forward to the next year, and in the playoffs, they're just mashing people because he's so good. But also, I would agree that like a Roger Saffold is a choice of a let's run the ball.
Yep.
I mean, Taylor Lewan, who was already in place anyway, but Taylor Lewan is an all-around left tackle. But you have to have balance. I think any coach or GM in this league would say, like, you can't look at it like we are going to be only this or only that. You have to be able to do both. I believe you have to be able to do both.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yes. I think it's a good point about how Henry's out and they still are able to run the ball and they're not pass protecting well. But that wasn't the plan. The plan wasn't for them to be deficient passing the ball. And the plan, they've tried to get people who stretch the field too. They've brought in. John Robinson picked Taywan Taylor. That wasn't to be a blocking receiver. He's had other guys that you got to have, different kinds of players and things like that. So I think there's some truth to it. Let's also remember, if we're going to talk about Henry and Tannehill, and I'm with you clearly. Henry is a league MVP type guy.
Yep.
Okay, but they have benefited each other, and there's no better evidence of that than looking at Henry's numbers when Tannehill wasn't quarterback in 19 and when Tannehill was quarterback in 19. That quarterback switch also greatly benefited Derrick Henry.
Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Ty texting in says, without the stars, I was hoping that Tannehill could go out and have magical individual performances and steal us a game, just like Rodgers did versus the Cardinals. He's not been good, and I think that's what has the fans feeling glass half empty at this point. This coming from Ty on the text line.
Yeah, he's not Aaron Rodgers, never will be.
Right. Look, yes, Aaron Rodgers did that in one game. I would also like to point out they were an A.J. Green mixing up a passing play from a running play away from losing the game against the Cardinals. So Rodgers was great in that game. Aaron Rodgers is awesome. We all understand that. But they still probably should have lost that game. Cardinals screwed that one up. So my point is, even the best quarterbacks, yes, I feel way more comfortable with an Aaron Rodgers or with a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady. to pick up the slack and carry you forward. They've shown that they can do that. And Ryan Tannehill, I just don't think can do that. But you're talking about, like, again, 3 guys that can do that in the league, maybe 4.
Right. And again, no one ever put him on that tier, I don't think. Now, top 10, that does seem like a stretch. No, people won't be talking about that after this year because a lot of people just look at numbers and say, oh, so he stinks now. It's a lot more complicated than that, but I still think, second tier, very good quarterback. I think that he still fits that bill. But again, he almost won them the game Sunday. Didn't. It was short of the sticks. At some point here, they're probably going to need him, even if they have Henry and A.J. Brown back. They're going to need him. And we talked about that going into this year. Yeah. What about the playoff game last year? He wasn't good enough. He missed A.J. Brown deep. Like, you can't miss that. You got to be better.
I think we've always known if the Titans are going to win a Super Bowl. And look, that's what this year was about. It's about winning a Super Bowl. This is your window. It's go for it. We've talked about all that. We talked about from the jump. If the Titans are going to win the Super Bowl, at some point, Ryan Tannehill was going to have to step up and win you a game. Like, we've seen it in the playoffs. Teams are going to focus in on Derrick Henry. A lot of times it doesn't matter. Derrick Henry does what he wants to do anyway, but sometimes they're able to slow him down. And when that happens, you got to have Ryan Tannehill to step up and win you a game. I don't know if there's a ton of confidence he can do that right now. I'd like to see what that looks like with some players on the field as they move forward. That's what you're hoping for. Like, to me, that's the hope you have if you're a Titans fan right now. You've got to find a way. Like, if Derrick Henry can't get back, to me, this team has no chance. So that's the number one thing. You got to get Henry back. You got to get A.J. Brown back and healthy. And then you at least give yourself a shot. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like, but without those 2 guys, to me, like, you just don't have a shot offensively.
And the thing is, again, you go around all these teams. There's some teams that have so many, or they have a Rodgers. But look, you're telling me if Devontae Adams was out for the playoffs, how do you feel about your Packers?
Not great.
Yeah, you got. That's why you have maybe 2, 3 elite playmakers on an offense in the NFL, and the Titans' clear 2 best have not been there. And it makes a difference.
Got a texter that says Ryan Tannehill's play is similar to Marcus Mariota's when he stopped trusting the offensive line. You need to fix the O-line. Problem is, I don't know how you fix the O-line at this point. Yeah. To me, it is what it is right now.
Yeah, it's I'd say, like, Nate Davis is still someone who, you hope he has a strong finish. I think Quessenberry, I wouldn't overreact to Quessenberry getting torched by T.J. Watt. He's been fine.
T.J. Watt may set the NFL single-season sack record this year. So,
and he just set the Steelers sack record. So, but yeah, you're just hoping that those guys can. But let's remember, at some point ever in this entire year, that the starting group will start and finish a game together. Still hasn't happened, but as far as that's a long-term thing too. Then the whole, like, what are you going to do with this offensive line moving forward? I'm more and more in the camp of, like, you can't cut Lewan, but the numbers are going to be interesting. Lewan and Saffold will not both be here next year. I'm confident in saying that.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans offense on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Let me tell you about my friends at Jasper's. Jasper's is a casual restaurant and bar located on West End Avenue. Great location, equipped with TVs, a game room available for private events, a grab-and-go market, and free parking. And you know how that is in Nashville. Anywhere you can find free parking, that's a pretty good plus. This neighborhood spot is Nashville's new go-to restaurant and bar. You can try their selection of elevated bar food ranging from appetizers to chicken sandwiches to flatbread pizzas and the famous smash burger, as well as any of their delicious cocktails. So visit my friends at Jasper's, located at 1918 West End Avenue. Once again, that's 1918 West End Avenue, and tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
Breaking news. The Nashville Predators have had their next 3 games postponed due to COVID and will be shut down at least through the end of the NHL's holiday break on December 26th. Keep it locked here for the latest from Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
closer, bolder, golden. Nashville SC Stadium is arriving in 2022, and season tickets are on sale now. With just 150 feet between the pitch and the last row, you'll be right there in the action no matter where you sit. If you thought soccer in Nashville was a party already, you ain't seen nothing yet. So come on in, grab a seat, and stay a while as we open a new era of Nashville sports. For more information on season tickets at the new Nashville SC Stadium, visit nashvillesc.com/22tix.
Do great prices and selection on trucks and SUVs still exist? They do in Truckville. Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville has the largest selection in Tennessee. And we keep getting fresh stock on our lots every day. We're committed to offering you our best price and a 5-star experience, which is why we're still known as the destination for trucks and SUVs. Come visit Truckville, Tennessee today in person or online at sarahnashville.com.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
All right, we've got lucky caller number 4, Marcus, on the line. If he answers this question, he wins a new car.
Let's do this.
Okay, for a new car, name the only actor to appear in...
And now a message from our sponsor.
With 24/7 support and quick and easy claims, Progressive protects what matters most. Progressive.
Films all in the same year.
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
3 seconds, Marcus.
Yeah, no, but there was an ad in the middle.
You didn't answer.
I didn't hear anything.
Marcus, you dropped it in the dirt.
Progressive. There's never a bad time for great protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Progressive wants your pets to be their best selves, so we cover them in our auto policy. And we created this self-empowerment series just for them.
You are perched by the windowsill, working on a truly epic hairball. A lowly bird passes by and instinctively surrenders. You are feared by birds.
Get coverage for your pets with an auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Over the middle, has a man, touchdown Tennessee, Devontae Pitt.
The Tennessee Volunteers are coming to Nashville on December 30th to face Purdue in the 2021 Music City Bowl. Your official home for the TransPerfect Music City Bowl is
ESPN
102.5 The Game and 93.3 Classic Hits. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Music City and Volunteer Hose and Gasket.
Hey Nashville, I'm Gary Smith, head coach of Nashville SC. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Ball tipped and intercepted! Picked off by Schobert. And Tannehill helps take him down at the 30-yard line. It was deflected by Taco Charlton.
Tough interception for Ryan Tannehill on Sunday against the Steelers. That's one of those where, I guess at first glance you watch it and you're like, dude, why are you throwing that ball? And then you see the replay and you're like, oh, he jumped like 8 feet in the air and tipped the ball to get that play, get a hand on the ball there, and it was picked. I mean, yes, it's an interception. I mean, I don't know how much you blame Ryan Tannehill for that one. Maybe lofted a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good play. That was a good play by the defense. You get those tipped at the line picks, but they go on your record as a pick. So
they do.
And the fumble snap, I mean,
that was bad.
Can't have it.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Liam texting in. I don't know if football has the wins against replacement stat, but Downing feels like he's worth 0 there. He's just a guy that if he had all the tools available, he can call plays. But also remember, it took him a bit to figure out that he should run play action with Derrick Henry. It's not like he's going to all of a sudden become some super offensive savant and get super creative at this point. This coming from Liam on the text line, which is another part of the Ryan Tannehill discussion. How does the Tannehill-Todd Downing marriage look at this point? Obviously, I think it's fair to say Tannehill and Arthur Smith, pretty good, on the same page together. I think Todd Downing's had his moments this year where he's called really good games. I think there have been some times where it's been a little rough as well. So I think a mixed bag with Downing so far.
Yeah, and Well, the Downing reputation, again, which was created in 1 year, but was that he didn't like play action. He didn't do much play action in that 1 year, with the Raiders. Very bad year for a variety of reasons. Todd Downing got a whole bunch of the blame because the OC is going to get a whole bunch of the blame. But it is interesting, and I'm going to cite football and other F words here again. Tannehill last year led the league in play action, according to this tweet, 36.4%. This year, 15th at 27.5%. So, play action is being used less now. You could look at that and chop that up a bunch of ways too, and say, well, he hasn't had Derrick Henry in a few weeks, and they've run some play action this year where it's resulted in him getting clobbered, and it's again with Downing. What was it, about 3 weeks ago? People were like, head coach candidate Todd Downing, and maybe he will be. I'd say, given the expectations and just given the sort of reality that you're just not always going to find a gem who's about to ascend to a head coaching job every time you hire internally your tight ends coach to be your OC, I'd say he's been fine. I think he's been good enough. The offense has been bad, but how can you seriously not understand all the things that have gone wrong that aren't in his control? I think he's had some bad days. Sunday was one of them.
Lance on the text line. Tannehill needs to roll out or sprint out to get some more time. The tipped interception is on Downing. They should just run the ball. This is coming from Lance on the text line. The play, look, it's easy to say that. And, look, I hear you. They should have run the ball more. I get it. They ran the ball 42 times against the Steelers. So a lot of people were like, what do you mean run the ball more? They ran the ball 42 times. Yeah. They should have run the ball more. The play was right there.
Yeah. There are a few times that I think that they should have run the ball when they passed it. But, yes, that was a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4.
I think 4.
You got to throw for a first down in this league. You got to throw for a first down on that play in this league, and it was there. And it was a great play. I just don't think he's the problem.
Talk about Downing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's hard to judge what he is right now because of the weapons that he was supposed to be working. But the conversation we had about Todd Downing heading into the season was, man, there's a whole lot of pressure on Todd Downing for this offense to be good because of the weapons he has. And now you're strutting out, Cody Hollister, a big part of your game plan. Not something he anticipated this year, my guess is.
Yeah, there have been very good offensive days for this team when they've had their people.
Yeah.
Has there been a terrible offensive day for the Titans when they've had at least especially Derek and AJ? Those are obviously. We can separate AJ from Julio by a pretty big gap at this point, right?
I would say so.
Has there been a terrible day for this offense with that crew?
Yes,
the first
Arizona,
day,
but that was
the first
about
day.
It.
Yeah, the first day when it was like, oh. So I guess y'all are going to get Tannehill's internal organs mixed up.
Chandler Jones is going to set the single-season sack record in Week 1.
Other than that, you go through it again, like the Jets game. I'm talking about when they had their people. They did have Derrick Henry. They did not have any receivers. It's been pretty good for the most part. And then lately, it's been real bad. 13 points, 20 against the Jags, getting 4 picks and 13 points.
Which, we were talking about after the Jags game. You scored 20, and it feels like you were just leaving so much on the table in that game. Todd texting in says, Tannehill threw deep into double coverage at least 3 times on Sunday. Poor decision-making for multiple weeks at this point with Tannehill.
Yeah, we talked about the one – well, I don't know about – I only remember the deep shot to Hollister.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Seriously, I think Tannehill was like, "Wait a minute, I'm standing here. I can set up.
I haven't been hit yet.
Let me take a shot."
Look, you have to take shots down the field in this league. Even if you don't connect, you've at least got to keep defenses honest. If they're not even worried about you throwing the ball deep, that makes everything you do harder. We got a text about, it sounds like the Titans should just run routes of 10 yards or less. And in a perfect world, yeah, that sounds great in terms of, the pass protection. You get the ball out quick. Problem is, if they know you can't throw the ball deep, they're coming up to challenge you, and it just makes things there's so little room out there. It makes things difficult. So I don't really have a problem with Tannehill taking some deep shots when they're there, when he thinks they're there. Even if you don't connect on them, like, you have to keep the defense honest.
Yeah, you've got to give them some vertical threat here and there. And Tannehill was, 3 inches too far on the pass to Westbrook-Akina.
Look, it's a throw he should have made. He should have made the throw. It's a bad throw. Still probably should have. I mean, you at least should have made the catch. It was a touchdown throw.
Yeah,
like you should have scored a touchdown on that play.
Touchdown play if he throws it perfectly. Still a 45-yard catch because it was in both of Westbrook-Akina's hands. So they both screwed up on that play. But when you get those opportunities, and they are not frequent, and you have to take them. And again, it's not really A.J. Brown's thing either. And they just don't have someone. I mean, I thought Julio Jones would be more that kind of guy, and clearly not even close.
And not thinking he'll be close at any point, which is very disappointing.
Doesn't look that way.
Is he going to go into the Andre Johnson, Randy Moss list with Julio Jones? Like, Julio Jones' one game that he had against Seattle probably makes him better than Randy Moss here as a Titan, but cost was pretty high. Getting up a second-round pick to go get that guy.
Well, that's the thing. The cost of this versus those two guys. Those two guys were, everybody knew, yeah, okay. Right? I don't know how much excitement there was about Randy Moss here.
There was a lot, but it's just name more than anything.
Yeah. But this was legitimately, tell me why he's not going to be great, just because he missed part of last year. He was great when he played last year.
Yeah.
Tell me why he's not going to be great. Well, at some point, a player falls off.
I think we're seeing that. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Paul Koharski coming up at 8 o'clock from Outkick 360 and paulkoharski.com. So looking forward to that discussion on the Titans to begin the 8 o'clock hour. When we come back, I've got something that's been irking me the last couple of days that I want to let off my chest. We'll get to that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. A little bit warmer for us this morning. Temperatures in the 30s on our way to highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s under mostly cloudy skies with a couple isolated sprinkles possible.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
312 Pizza Company is family-owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style. Always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesdays and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 to order 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
This holiday season, give the gift of Craftsman tools at Lowe's. With a heritage of performance and reliability, Craftsman is the perfect gift for the project people on your list. There's something for every builder, fixer, and creator you know. Choose from power tools, outdoor power equipment, mechanics tools, tool storage, and more. Shop in-store, online, or through our app, because there are more ways to holiday at Lowe's. And a gift from Lowe's is a gift that leads to more. U.S. only.
Robby and Rexrode is on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube today and every day. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Robby and Rexrode brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning. Joe Rexrode, there's been one thing and a talking point ever since the Titans played against the Steelers on Sunday that is driving me nuts. And it's one of the dumber things in sports that always just drives me insane. And we had a similar conversation last year with the Titans and the Ravens meeting at the logo at midfield. And there was this nice shot on Sunday, and it happened in the pregame of the Titans standing on the logo at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And they were even talking about it on the pregame show on CBS of, oh, boy, Titans are on the logo at Steelers. We saw how that worked out for Oakland. What amount of disrespect is going on here? And just, you know, the Titans lose the game, and Pittsburgh Twitter has fun with it of, that's what you get for stepping on our logo. How dare you step on a blade of grass out there that you play football on? It is the dumbest thing in sports to me, this idea of how dare you step on our logo. The Predators used to have inside their locker room before they remodeled it, this big carpet logo that you step. I mean, it was right in the middle of the floor. And look, guys in there half the time, they're not paying attention to anything that's going on in the media. But God bless, if somebody stepped on like the edge of the Pred head logo in the locker room, like people would stop what they're doing to just like either run and like pull you off the logo physically or be like, hey, step off the logo. What are you doing? And I've always thought to myself of, well, how about you take this grand idea, if you don't want the logo stepped on, put it on the ceiling. And finally, the Predators did that. They remodeled their locker room, put the logo on the ceiling, and now nobody can step on the logo, even though they have this carpet that when they walk out to the ice of their logo, and every one of them walk over it every time. I'm like, oh, that logo, you step on that one. It's this idea in sports that it's something like it's disrespectful or like, how dare you step on a blade of grass that's been painted with our logo on it. It drives me nuts how many people go off about this, how butthurt they get over this stuff. It is crazy to me how this continues to be a conversation of how dare you step on our logo. And it was all over the place on Twitter the other day. I mean, people are still talking about it. That's what Titans get, stepped on the Pittsburgh Steelers logo. They do it every game. Every single game, they're on the logo.
Right.
Drives me nuts.
So the ones they won are, I guess it's because they stepped on the logo. Yeah.
Well, the Baltimore game last year, like, they're still on the logo.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel and John Harbaugh about to fight each other on the logo. Like, it's just, of course, and then, the Ravens in the playoff game, they make the pick, and where do they go? Straight to the Titans logo. So I'm not saying that some people don't care about it. I just think it's the dumbest thing in sports. It's so stupid to me.
So the first time I remember anything like this was T.O., and that's different, right?
Yeah, he ran from the end zone to the midfield after a touchdown.
He stomped on
yes.
it. Okay, so that's like I am saying I'm disrespecting you.
Right.
Yeah, the Titans gather at midfield. They gather at midfield and like, hey, let's get ready for the game. And okay.
Yeah,
so
like
the logo's there.
It's
Sorry.
one thing if they're like taking a shovel on the Steelers logo and just like digging that thing up, then okay, yeah, probably a little disrespectful.
Yeah, or even just like actually actively like stomping on it or something like I'm trying to think of what on the Steelers logo you would pinpoint.
Like Steelers fans still talk about like Keith Bulluck stomping on the terrible towel, like back in 2008 when the Titans win that game. And of course, there's supposed to be a rematch in the AFC title game, and the Ravens came in and they beat the Titans, and I think the Steelers won the Super Bowl that year, if I remember correctly.
That year they beat the Cardinals?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I get it. There's people that still talk about that, but I just don't understand this thing it's literally grass. It's painted over grass that you run plays on. Like people, they step on the logo all the time in the middle of the action. It just, I don't get it. Drives me nuts.
It's the Preds thing. I remember that, and it's actually the same thing they had back at Michigan State in their hoops locker room, and it's the same thing. Like there's a whole bunch of people here, including, here's some student reporters and like interns, and it would be the same thing. Hey, logo, and it's like, dude, if the locker room's this packed, like sometimes you can't help but step on the thing.
I was in the Blackhawks locker room in 2015 when the Predators were playing them. As when they're on their run to win the Stanley Cup, and the logo, the locker room, it's a decent sized locker room in Chicago, but they have the logo in there and they roped it off. So you're talking about like half the locker room you can't even walk around because they've roped off the logo. And again, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why is it on the carpet if you don't want anybody to step on it? The carpet's literally made for people to step on. That's what it's made for. And you don't want people to step on the logo, so you rope this thing off. So instead of just being able to walk across the room to go talk to Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane, I've got to do a backflip over this this roped off logo to make sure that nobody on the Blackhawks gets their feelings hurt. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, so do away with logos. Do away with logos on areas where people walk.
Or people just not be sensitive about stepping on the logo.
Yeah. But people are always trying to find, you're trying to find some slight, right?
Now, I say this, like if the first round of the play, let's say like the Titans are playing the Chargers in the first round of the playoffs, I guarantee you, like if the Chargers meet before the game at midfield on the Titan logo, Titans fans are going to go nuts. They're going to lose their mind. Oh, my goodness. They're stepping on the logo. I will not fall into this trap. I don't care if the Packers and Bucks are playing in the NFC title again and Tom Brady goes out there and just sits down on the Green Bay logo before the game. He can do whatever he wants. Doesn't bother me at all.
Fake urinates?
Well,
is there something that could possibly offend you?
Well, Joe, that probably would offend people.
No, he's a Pharaoh, man.
Make love
just watering the grounds of Lambeau Field.
Pretends to die and then come back to life on the logo.
Well, that might offend me because then he'd probably play well.
I
just don't get it.
No, and that's the thing is there was talk in the press box about it, and I didn't even, I don't know if I didn't see it. I wasn't even paying attention when they were doing it. I don't know. I assume they got booed. I guess
I'm sure they did.
But I mean, I've watched the Twitter video of it, and it was like, yeah, they were just like coming together and gathering for the game. Yeah. But yes, it becomes that's why. That's actually why they lost the logo.
Indy Ben text again. What's the point of gathering on the opponent's team's logo? You could just as easily gather on your sideline like most NFL teams do. It just comes across as cocky. Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know why they do it. It just doesn't bother me. Like I don't know why it bothers people. I guess you could just meet up on your sideline if you wanted to. It doesn't bother me.
No, but I mean, I guess midfield is kind of like doesn't that make sense? Right around there.
Do they do it in Nissan Stadium here?
Yeah.
See, so it's like a thing.
Gover, you see this on Twitter? I saw Jeremy Gover says, I saw Shea Weber shove someone off the logo during the 2011 playoffs. For context, 2 people had been yelled at to get off the logo right before that, so he'd had enough. I want to know who these people are.
This used to be the biggest deal ever. People get on the logo. Like Shea Weber, he's like actively avoiding media, and then he sees like somebody steps on the logo, and it's like the eyes just turn like, oh gosh, they stepped on like the back half of the Pred head there. What do we do?
I mean, all due respect to Shea Weber, that's freaking stupid. He shoved someone off it. I got to know who these people are.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, hop off the logo.
Was this like Vancouver people? Like who?
If it's 2011, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brian texting in, stop making excuses for the Titans doing dumb stuff. If it's going to fire up the other team stepping on their logo, don't do it. If the difference in the
stop sugarcoating it.
If you think the difference in the game is, oh, we weren't going to play hard, but now the Titans have stepped on our logo, so now we're ready to play. I hope that's not the case in the NFL. I really do.
I mean, seriously. But again, if you go and it's like you are looking at the logo and then you like stomp on it, like you're being demonstrative and making a point of that. Okay, well, it's still to your point. Okay, well, we're about to play a smash mouth football with grown men just hurling into each other, regardless. But like what the Titans did was seriously like, hey, and they were hugging each other and jumping around. Let's get ready for the game. There was no, they weren't focusing on the logo. So it's dumb.
Xavier texting in, was that a Robby rant? I'd say that qualifies.
That was a Rob rant.
Yeah, that qualifies. Huffy texting in, that Rob rant was awesome. Maybe we'll start doing this too. We'll just go off about logos every week.
Why don't we have if there's a Rex rant on Mondays at 7:45, why not a Rob rant on Tuesdays at 7:45?
Yeah, Tuesdays is my day.
We don't have a Tuesday segment.
Wes texting in, Robbie, I'm with you. It'd be different if the Titans didn't do it every game. It's just so stupid. That's the other part about this that drives me nuts. It's like, all right, not only do they do it every game, it was literally a big deal last year in the Ravens game when they did it, and everybody's freaking out about it. And then all of a sudden, before the game Sunday in Pittsburgh, CBS catches them doing it, and now everybody in the world's talking about the Titans doing this. I'm like, they do it every time. What's the big deal? And there are people that legitimately believe that the reason they lost that game is because they stepped on the logo. And I'm like, all right, well, they've won 9 games this year, and they step on the logo every time. So does that like counteract it? Like, is it every other time? Like, what happens? What's the excuse for the 9 games they've won doing this? They do it every time on the road, especially.
Right.
What big game in L.A., Sunday Night Football, gathered up on the logo, won that game. What's the big deal?
So maybe it has nothing to do with anything. Sort of like which cushion of the couch you sit on when you're rooting for your team. Gover says, yes, it was Vancouver people, and they looked young, so my assumption is they were unaware of this being a thing and intimidated by covering the circus.
I wasn't around for that one, so I don't know.
I can't believe that Shea Weber actually shoved someone off it. Oh, my God. Johnny on Twitter says it's bad mojo with the players involved at the end of the Steelers regulation in 08. Don't do it. Because you knew you might have this rematch.
That was stomping on the towel. But they never played each other again after that.
But, I mean, I still have no problem with that either.
We need more of it. We need more trash talk in the NFL. The taunting rule's taking away everything. No more trash talk.
Wow.
See, I think stomping on the terrible towel, that's just disrespectful. The logo, I don't care about. But the terrible towel, come on.
I mean, it's a towel.
You'd won the game, right?
But it's a symbol.
Right.
You know?
It's symbolic.
I think it would be almost better if they just, like, waved it around, the terrible towel, because then that's, like, better. But stomping on it?
Or pretend to urinate on it.
Yeah.
No, Joe.
Do that with something.
Yeah. Anyway, that's been driving me nuts for 2 days. I had to get that off my chest.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. It was one of those things that, like, on Sunday it went through, and then you just forget about it because it's like, oh, I'm sure this will be some dumb thing. And it was.
It was.
So,
still is.
I'm glad you called it out.
Thank you. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation on the Titans. Welcome more of your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We'll be joined by Paul Kaharski from Outkick 360 and PaulKaharski.com. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go. There is going to be a whole lot of work going on. Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Time for the Prince Report.
After Friday night's overtime victory in Chicago, the Predators are 19-10-1. But because of the COVID outbreaks across the league, they aren't scheduled to play another game until December 27th at the earliest, when they are slated to open a 3-game road trip to Dallas, Washington, and Columbus. So the Predators have really done a great job with a depleted lineup thanks to COVID, and the COVID-19 protocol has overtaken much of the league. Predators games like those of Florida, Calgary, and other teams postponed throughout the time leading up to the Christmas break. So the Predators' next action in Dallas on the 27th. Have a very Merry Christmas. This is Pete Weber reporting on the Fifth Third Bank, Nashville Predators Radio Network.
For exclusive, in-depth coverage of your Nashville Predators, this is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Tune in to ESPN 102.5 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Merry Christmas from the Parman Harmon family to yours.
What's up, everybody? This is Teron Davenport, and I am here to tell you about Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire service. New tires, rotating, balancing, flat repair, torquing, they do it all. I can tell you this from personal experience. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the Titans facility. They came there and changed my tires, all 4 of them. They did an excellent job. My car is riding extra smooth now. If you're in need of tire service, be sure to check them out at freedomtireguys.com. If you don't see the tires you want, they'll go ahead and get it for you.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Fever is a potential sign of COVID or the flu, and the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Exergen temporal scanners available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's Robby and Rexrode with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 3, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning, talking Titans. And to help us do that, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Paul Kaharski from Outkick 360 and PaulKaharski.com. PK, what's going on, brother? How we doing?
I am well, gentlemen. Good morning. How are you?
We are great. Super. Appreciate you taking time to come on with us. So, Paul, we've talked a lot about Tannehill the last couple of days, and obviously the passing attack for the Titans offense right now is atrocious. It's not been good for Ryan Tannehill. My question for you is, how much of what's going on out there right now do you put on Tannehill, and how much of it is what is going on around him with the line, the lack of weapons, everything in terms of what we've seen from this Titans passing attack? What do you put on Tannehill in that regard?
Yeah, it's never just one thing. So, it's disappointing that he hasn't been able to elevate his game and elevate some of the people he's working with, which is what top-flight quarterbacks do. But, listen, think about this. And we know Joe's love affair with Nick Westbrook-Akina, who showed himself on Sunday to be a high-class special teamer. You got Westbrook-Akina, you got Racey McMath, you got Cody Hollister on the field sometimes as a 3-wide set. That's a minor league group of players that don't put fear into anybody. The fact of the matter is, teams are playing the Titans exactly the same as they played them when Derrick Henry was on the field in terms of stacking the box. Titans have zero vertical threat. They finally threw 3 deep passes in this game. One of them was dropped, Joe, and 2 of them didn't.
Oh, it's on me now.
Yeah, it's all on you.
Okay.
And 2 of them didn't connect. They have no explosivity to them whatsoever, and they're running the game pretty well. It's time for people to come to terms with the fact that this team is missing A.J. Brown way more than it's missing Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill, is pressing. He needs to throw the ball away once in a while. And let's not forget the offensive line. It's pretty remarkable that an offensive line could be as good as this one is in run blocking and simultaneously as poor as it is pass protecting. And I'm sick of them pretending like David Quessenberry's a quality right tackle. David Quessenberry's there because they blew the Isaiah Wilson pick. They blew the Dylan Radins pick, at least for this year. Ty Sambrailo couldn't cut it and quit. Kendall Lamb is a bust as a signing, and he's the last man left standing. He's not a starting tackle in the NFL, and he's the weak link on the line. None of them are playing well, but this guy's getting beat on a consistent basis, and they act like he's legit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say that T.J. Watt is really going to make someone look bad. I think Quessenberry's been serviceable for most of the year, but you're right about all the missteps to get there. Okay, but and you've laid out well, Paul, the various issues. But just back to Tannehill, do you think differently of him as a player now than you did when the season started?
No, people are really confused about this, Joe. Ryan Tannehill is a guy that the Titans plugged into a system that was well suited for him. It's a great trade. He has a skill set that fit exactly what they do. Run-based offense, don't want him to throw that much, strong in the play action, all of that. That's a good thing. If you don't have one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league, if you don't have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert now, some of these young guys, then you want a quarterback that can do things in the framework of your system. He's very good at doing things in the framework of your system. People want to look at that as limited. I look at that as smart. That's what we want teams to do all the time, put players in situations where they can excel. The Titans have done that with Tannehill. Now things have broken down around him, and everybody's like, oh, my God, this guy can't carry the team. If you thought he could carry the team, that's kind of on you. I didn't think Ryan Tannehill was a quarterback that could carry the team. If he was a quarterback that could carry the team, this team would have been built around him, and it wasn't. It's been built around Derrick Henry the whole time. Now, I think he should be doing better than he's doing, separately of that. He's not throwing the ball away for some reason. He's locking in on receivers. All those other factors play in, and I'm not making excuses for him. He's playing horribly. I think the 17 interceptions leads the league, and that's atrocious. And then he's fumbling snaps on top of it. He looks, a little bit frantic and panicky.
Paul Karski from Outkick 360 and paulkarski.com on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. PK, you've been around this team for a long time. The Julio Jones trade at this point, obviously he cannot stay healthy. Where does this rank in terms of disappointments thus far that we've seen out of Julio Jones in that trade?
Well, I mean, it's a huge disappointment, but in terms of a trade, it probably ranks really high. In terms of player acquisition, I mean, we're not far removed from Vic Beasley. Josh Reynolds lasted less than half a season. So, I mean, player acquisition has been really pretty poor. Isaiah Wilson takes the cake. So, I mean, he's just another one where they misjudge and fail. But on the field, I mean, here's the disconnect. I mean, they finally get him on the field. Yeah, the first play was intended for him, and Wormley got the sack. So then they don't do anything with him the rest of the game until an incomplete pass to him in the end zone late in the second quarter, and then he disappears. I mean, when he's on the field, why do you not force the issue and get him the ball when you've got a collection of scrubs out there otherwise? Sorry, Joe. That I listed earlier.
Okay.
I don't understand. It's like they're outsmarting everyone. Look, the guy's limited. He can't run past people anymore. But if you're putting him on the field, you know better than Pittsburgh knows what his limitations are. Let Pittsburgh find out. Throw him the ball. There's got to be some routes where he can out-physical people and use his skills. And there's probably a ticking clock on him. He might have 20 minutes before he pulls his hamstring again. Use him.
Well, let's take it to Downing, who a lot of the same excuses are available for him that we're applying to Tannehill. What's your evaluation of him at this point relative to your expectations going in, relative to his predecessor?
Yeah, well, he's not any Arthur Smith, that's for sure. But again, I mean, in a lot of ways, this flips to I don't want to let him off the hook. I don't think he's doing a good enough job right now. Like, they don't have anybody that can separate. But, Joe, it seems to me like the way, and I think they've done a good job with the screens, but the way you buy some guys separation who can't separate is you stack trips on one side and you run all that rub stuff, right? Did we see them do that at all? No. So are they incapable of doing that? Like, can they not handle it? Or are you failing them by not calling it? I don't really understand why that's not happening. But you're also coaching a guy who doesn't understand that he has to be beyond the sticks on the last play of the game in order for you not to lose. So I'm a little bit sympathetic on that front. But I don't think he's doing great. I do agree the easiest thing in the world is to go and be critical of the play calling. They're running the ball really well. I would have actually run the ball maybe a little bit more, especially when Tannehill's going so poorly and the weapons are so bad. So I give him credit for sustaining the run game. I give them all credit for sustaining the run game. He's got to be more inventive, more creative with the passing game. And I expect AJ to play on Thursday night, and I need them to throw it to him.
So, Paul, obviously, you got a red-hot 49ers team coming in here on Thursday. I mean, look, this Titans team has lost to the Jets and the Texans and an awful Steelers team this year too. So nothing is guaranteed. I understand that. What's your concern level at this point that the division, losing the division, is in danger for this group?
It's still really hard to lose the division. I mean, any combination of two Titans wins or two Colts losses. This Colts-Arizona game is really big. And the Cardinals are not what they were when the Titans saw them, obviously. Murray is slumping. Hopkins is out of the lineup. The Titans have to win at Houston, so there's one. Can they find one between San Francisco and Miami? Can the Colts slip once? I still feel okay about the division, but I'm saying that and I'm kind of convincing myself. I mean, the Colts are hot right now, and the Titans are playing terribly. And the fact of the matter is the Titans have to find some level of footing, and it's hard to expect it to come on short notice after another game where they're incapable of holding on to the ball.
Yeah, I don't like this matchup for them, the way the Niners are playing.
Me neither.
But they don't lose when they have extra rest under Vrabel, and they're going to have extra rest, and I just don't think Miami's that good. And like you said, I mean, you can't get swept by Houston. There's just no way, right? I think there's no way. So I think they're still going to win the division. But a playoff, let's say A.J. Brown comes back Thursday, like you said, and he is A.J. Brown. It looks to me like Bud Dupree was pretty explosive Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's a positive addition. So then let's say Derrick Henry comes into the mix and – whatever that means, I think people who think he's going to come in and get 32 carries in his first game, are fooling themselves. But do you still feel like this team could have an extended January if these things come together for them?
Well, I'm hard-pressed to believe that Derrick Henry's gonna be out there in anything like himself. I mean, this is a wide receiver injury, usually slighter guys. You're talking about a 250-pound guy on that foot. I don't know anything insiderish, and we know that there's kind of a battle between ESPN and NFL Network in terms of rating his availability.
Yes.
Has Schefter said anything about that lately?
I haven't heard anything lately.
No, he's been quieter. But I would bet against, just my gut feeling, against him being of great influence going forward. Look, they would have to completely transform back into something they haven't been in some time. If they drew the Colts in the first round like they have now, the odds of beating them a third time, they did it to Jacksonville in 1999. But, I mean, it's hard to feel good about them right now. You'd have to be forecasting something completely new. And this season of all seasons, recency bias kind of rules the day, and I can't get 13 turnovers in 3 losses out of my head. So, no, Joe, I don't have a good feeling about him going on any kind of playoff run. I think he should make vacation plans for second or third week of the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I did that in 2017, and I had to cancel 2 vacations because I was like, no, the Preds are going to get smoked by the Blackhawks, so that will not happen. I'm a veteran, Paul.
That was you're a veteran. You were a veteran then, and you did that. That was really dumb.
You don't have to ever stop learning, Paul. We can continue to get better as we get older, buddy.
That's right. Paul,
that was still really dumb.
Paul Kaharski has been our guest here on Robby and Rexrode from Outkick 360 and paulkaharski.com. PK, appreciate you taking time to join us. Hope you and the family have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon.
Likewise to you guys. I always appreciate the invitation, and have a great short week.
Absolutely.
And take it easy on NWI, will you? Just chill out a little bit.
Back to special teams, please.
PK, appreciate you, brother.
See ya.
Paul Kaharski from Outkick 360 and paulkaharski.com, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. That's coming up next. Turn every Tuesday into payday with TNT Tuesdays on FanDuel Sportsbook. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, FanDuel is giving all customers $10 back every single Tuesday. Just bet a $10 or more same-game parlay on any NBA on TNT game. Same-game parlays let you combine the money line, the point spread, player props, and more all into one wager. The Pacers taking on my beloved Miami Heat tonight. The Heat dealing with some injury problems. It's rough right now, but you know what? They're at home. I think they have enough to win this game, so give me the Miami Heat. Give me Kyle Lowry with a big game as well. But you take it any way you want to take it. It's the perfect way to turn a small bet into a big-time score. And once again, if you win or lose, you're guaranteed to get $10 added to your account. So if you're new to FanDuel, just sign up with promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 and make every moment more this NBA season. Once again, that promo code is ROB exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. A max bonus of $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Quarterback sneak, and that's a Tennessee touchdown. It's a quick turnaround for the Titans as they look to get back in their winning ways Thursday night against the 49ers.
There's guys out there competing, working, and fighting for each other.
We'll get you set up all week.
You've got to be able to throw the ball down the field to keep a defense honest.
On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Mucinex presents Trusted Allies of Doctors. Throughout history, doctors have used tools they trust to help them treat your illnesses. But what do they trust when they have a cough and cold? Mucinex, the #1 brand doctors trust.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Due to overwhelming response, Genesis Diamond's amazing holiday finance offer has been extended. Now through Christmas Eve, you can enjoy 5 years, 0 interest on any holiday purchase. Everyone's loving this because it makes it easy to splurge this holiday season. A $6,000 pair of diamond stud earrings is just $100 a month with nothing down. You can even include the sales tax. At Genesis, we have all the most popular gifts: rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, pearls, and a spectacular selection of designer jewelry you won't find anywhere else. Names like Tacori, Viraggio, Kirk Cara, unique, one-of-a-kind, fashion-forward designs. So let our non-commissioned diamond experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Get the guaranteed best Genesis price, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 whole years. Make this one unforgettable Christmas with help from Genesis Diamonds. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit, see store for details.
Make Smoke Token the only stop for your holiday shopping, offering the largest selection of smoking products and accessories. We are the only place you need to go. Located in Nashville and Murfreesboro, Smoke Token is here and ready to help. Mention this commercial for 15% off your purchase.
Signs First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Don't miss Nashville's best NFL pregame show on ESPN 94.9, live from Boo Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville this Thursday. The NFL pregame show features Jarrett Stillman, Mark Howard, and former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. You can join them from 5 to 7 p.m. live at Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House in East Nashville at 1003 Russell Street prior to the Titans taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The NFL pregame show brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. Thanks to Paul Kaharski for joining us in the last segment. What did you make of his answer there of not feeling great about the outlook of the Titans right now, even if you get A.J. Brown back and Derrick Henry back? And I kind of agree with the two of you. Like, I know Derrick Henry is superhuman, so I guess nothing that he does would really surprise me. But the idea of him coming back and all of a sudden it's like nothing happened and he just gets the ball 35 times a game, I can't see it. I don't really know if that's smart. Like, I just don't anticipate that being the way things shake out.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you could flip that around and say, well, then why even have him play? But I still think there's value in having him available, having the threat. If he is healthy enough to play, why can't he carry it more? Is there a pitch count coming back from this? Like, I would argue if there's a pitch count or something like that, then don't bring it back and just bring it back next year. It's so, but yeah, I just would be surprised if all of a sudden it's just boom, here you go, and it's back and it's just Derrick Henry doing everything. So we'll see on that. I thought it was interesting that Paul said A.J. Brown way more important than Derrick Henry. Probably should have pressed Paul on that, actually. I don't know. I think you can make an argument on which is more important because they're running the ball really well still.
Right.
But way more, I think that's a little bit overstated.
Well, I would agree, but also, I mean, you look at the numbers. They ran for 270 against the Patriots, and they ran for 200 against Pittsburgh. So, I mean, you can't pass the ball right now. So I get what he's saying.
Yes.
I mean, look, a lot of even as well as they're running the ball, there are still like one or two at least runs a game where I'm looking around like, man, if that was Derrick Henry, he'd be going.
Oh, yeah. No, there were 3 or 4 the other day. There were 3 or 4 the other day where it's like, yep, that's a house call. And that's the thing. He's such a threat, along with and Deontay Foreman has been a heck of a find here, but he's such a threat, along with the diminishing effect that he has on defenses because he also hammers at them all day. But, yeah, I mean, look, you've got to have a playmaker outside, and they've got – I mean, he's a little tough on Westbrook-Ikhine. But, look, Westbrook-Ikhine is a great story. We know this. He's probably the most praised guy on the team this year. I mean, he's like up there on a like every other week basis. Someone talks about what a pro he is on that, and it's a great story. And he should be your 4th or 5th receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 4th max. Like that's what he should be. Now, again, there's no disrespect to him. He's done good. He's done a good job in what they've asked him to do. But I agree. Like you look out there, there's not much separation, and it'd be really big to get A.J. Brown back. I mean, get him back and get him the ball. As PK said, it's one thing to have him back, and I do agree with you that just his presence, it helps you offensively because that gives the defense something to look at and to think about. But they need as many playmakers as they like. You got to get him the ball. Like he's got to be a huge factor in this game if he can play.
And he does. Look, he's just capable of. I mean, really, once he gets in the open field, I mean, he's a problem to tackle. He's a powerful player. He makes a big difference if he's playing like like he can play at his best, and he was that for a few weeks of this year. Of course, he's also had a whole bunch of his own various injuries, and this last one was kind of weird. So Kaharski expects him to play. There's other noise out there that maybe this week it's a little bit tight. They knew the timetable all along. I mean, they knew the timetable. He wasn't. He's not returning to practice to me with the idea that just let's get him ready for Miami.
Agreed.
Now he may not end up playing Thursday, but they know how badly they need him as quickly as possible.
Mark from Clarksville texting in, give me more trash talk. Give me Owens running to the logo. Give me Moss mooning the crowd or Horn making a phone call. Trash talk is great for the game and hate the taunting rule. That's going back to my logo stance. Coming from Mark from Clarksville on the text line. I'm here. I'm here for it all. The pulling the cell phone out of the end zone, that was pretty great.
That was.
Can't really do that anymore.
That was pretty great. Ron says if someone held a picture of your mom and stomped on it while, I guess, talking mess, would you be mad? Kind of the same thing. You love your mom, you love your team.
Talking about the logo?
I'm thinking that's what Ron's talking about.
Well, let's be clear. First off, the Titans didn't stomp on anything.
Yeah.
So,
you got to start there. Like if they actually did something like that, then that's one thing.
Also,
they gathered on it, and hopped around and got excited about the game.
Got excited and said, "All righty." I mean, they did
broke it down.
Yeah, they did their Urban Meyer 1, 2, 3 grind chant and walked back to the sideline. That's all they did. It's no big deal.
I was going to say, I hope you love your mom more than your football team too.
Well, there is
right?
that too.
And also, I would hope that you wouldn't put a logo of your mom on your floor.
Well, that too.
Or
exactly,
your field,
Joe.
or your yard.
Paint a logo of Deborah out there. Maybe that's what I'll do today.
I got Susan's out there, and then Gus and Quinn pee on it. No, we don't want this.
A.J. Brown, as you said, designated to return yesterday. Be nice to see if he could be on the field. Other injury news for the Titans. And, again, these are projections. Julio Jones did not practice due to a hamstring. I don't think that's a surprise. Taylor Lewan on the injury report with a back. He was projected as a DNP as well. And then the one that continues to just be frustrating and concerning, David Long Jr., hamstring, DNP. And here we are. The L.A. Rams game is the last time we've seen David Long Jr. It's a long time.
It is. And it seems, man, he is such a playmaker. It's been such a breakthrough year for him. It's kind of lost in Jayon Brown returning, but Rashaan Evans, I think for a second straight week, I like how he played.
Yeah.
I thought he looked active and aggressive, and I thought Evans and Zach Cunningham together looked pretty good out there. Zach Cunningham's out there blasting people. So it seems less of a big deal. But, for example, in a game like this, I mean, I feel like Jayon Brown is going to have to be, in some situations, utilized against Kittle and Long. Maybe it would have been a guy. I mean, that's more their area than Evans and Cunningham. So they're going to miss him at some point.
Is that going to be Kevin Byard's job?
Well, that too. Yeah, sure. When they're manning up, I mean, I think that makes the most sense. But you're going to have a variety of coverages, and it'll be interesting. I mean, how much do they devote to trying to slow him down? He's incredible.
We'll continue the conversation on the Titans looking ahead to the 49ers game coming up on Thursday. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Attention, men, have you been struggling with erectile dysfunction? Well, Hillside Medical Clinic has a breakthrough treatment for ED that does not require any pills, injections, or surgery. And right now, Andrew joins me to tell us all about it. Andrew, what's going on?
Hey, that's right, guys. If you're out there struggling with ED, just imagine turning back the clock in the bedroom, being able to function without the pill, and getting normal frequency back. Well, that is what this technology at Hillside Medical Clinic is doing. It's called wave therapy, and it emits pressure waves which gently open up and regrow the blood vessels. It's different because it's actually treating the problem, the root cause of erectile dysfunction, instead of just masking symptoms.
So, Andrew, what kinds of studies have been done on the wave therapy technology?
Our technology at Hillside Medical Clinic is heavily vetted by 50 studies. Cambridge, multiple other universities, hospitals, and journals have showed this to be safe, effective. One study said that this creates a clinical increase in blood flow, and who doesn't want more of that in the bedroom?
And, Andrew, I hear you have a special offer if our listeners call in right now.
We certainly do. If you are ready to end your erectile dysfunction and your frustrations, get rid of the pill, call us now this morning. The exam, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound will be free, plus a gift. This is worth the call. It produces immediate results in the bedroom, It's about $500. It's totally free to callers right now.
You heard it, guys. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction by treating the root cause of the problem. Call Hillside Medical Clinic right now to qualify for that offer at 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your ED and regain your love life. Call Hillside Medical Clinic right now at 615-576-5000.
Hi, I'm Yusuf Saros. And this is Smashville.
Stopped by Saros. Puck checked away and taken now by Mikhail Gronlund.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025. The Game.
Are you worried about your holiday shopping and your gift arriving in time? The Omni Nashville Hotel has a great idea for you. How about gift cards to the world-renowned Mokara Spa or Nashville's fine dining favorite, Bob's Steak and Chop House? Surprise your loved ones and friends with this special gift idea and take out the hustle and bustle of fighting traffic and long lines this holiday season. Simply go to OmniNashvilleHotel.com to purchase your gift cards. That's OmniNashvilleHotel.com for gift cards to Mokara Spa or Bob's Steak and Chop House.
Hey, this is Jared, the owner of MTGRT.com. Has your lender discussed long-term and short-term total costs? Our goal with our clients is to ensure that they make the best decisions for their situation. Strong analysis ensures you're getting the right loan for you from the get-go. Let us help you make your dream home a reality. Text me on my personal cell today at 615-969-2257 or schedule a time for us to talk online at MTGRT.com.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, has a gift that'll certainly put you in the holiday spirit. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get in the Christmas spirit with the holiday free bet surprise. Everyone will get a free bet up to $50 instantly, as DraftKings gives away up to $10 million in prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KJM. Bet just $5 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets if they're victorious. That's code KJM. This Christmas week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Hey Nashville, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee here, inviting you to tune in on ESPN 94.9 every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Commodore Hour, providing you with exclusive insights on Vanderbilt athletics.
What's happening in Nashville? This is Scott Van Pelt. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025, The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Taking your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We'll be joined by our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports coming up at 9 o'clock. Looking forward to that conversation going around what has been a wild week in the NFL. Some games that have been moved. We got two games tonight, Joe Rexrode. The Seahawks and the Rams, and then Washington taking on Philadelphia. A couple of big ones tonight.
Yeah, so Washington, Philly, that's basically an elimination game. Whoever wins that game is going to be 7-7 and still right in there. The loser, I think you can rule out.
I kind of can't believe that the Philadelphia Eagles have won 6 games this year with that head coach. Like, I go back to the Nick Sirianni.
Sweet Nick S., man.
Some of the speeches that he's gone on in these media press conferences, and I'm like, wow, that guy's won 6 games.
Well, they don't pay these guys to give speeches.
Yeah, that is true.
Although
Dan Campbell does a good job at that, too.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets paid by the word with his speeches.
It was a lengthy one.
So Rams-Seahawks, that's in L.A., correct?
Yeah.
Which, of course, could pull the Rams even at 10-4 with the Cardinals. Now, I don't know who the tiebreaker would be there. They split in the regular. They've split the series, but they're right there now. The door has been open, thanks in part to Dan Campbell, Matt Stafford's old team, and the Rams' former quarterback. Thanks to them, in part, now the Rams have a shot here now, which is pretty wild. That looked absolutely.
I think the Rams would jump ahead because the Cardinals are 6-4 in conference. That would mean the Rams, if they win this game, would be 7-3. I think they move ahead.
There you go. That's pretty wild. I would not have guessed that, with 3 games to go, we could be talking about first place Rams.
Yeah.
So the Titans maybe temporarily broke them, but if they figure this out, and you never know with that division too, by the way. I mean, Russ could come in and wreck any night for somebody. So that's actually a pretty interesting game. And then you could be looking at 4 10-4s, all a game behind your beloved Packers with 3 to go. That's kind of fun.
It'd be great if the Seahawks could win this game. Just keep putting that pressure on them, because I don't think Tampa's losing again. I think Tampa they got 2 more with the Panthers and maybe 1 with I can't remember who the other one mixed in there is, but it's not good. So they're probably, even with Chris Godwin out, probably going to go 3-0 down the stretch.
The Tampa that just scored 0 points?
They'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, look at that schedule. At Panthers, at Jets versus Panthers.
That's who the other one was, the Jets.
My.
So they're not losing again.
It's like just a Sam Darnold bouillabaisse.
So how concerned are you about the division? PK did not seem to be overly concerned at this point. Look, I get it. There's 3 games left. You win 2 of them, you're in good shape if you're the Titans. Obviously, all eyes outside of the result of the Titans game Thursday going to be on Indy and Arizona. That's a big one. Cardinals favored by 2 in that game. I don't know that I've reached the point yet where I am overly concerned about the Titans losing the division. But I will say, even though it's the Dolphins and the Texans on the schedule coming down the stretch, if the Titans lose to the Niners and Indy pulls off this win against Arizona, I'm going to be concerned at that point.
Yeah, well, it'll create a high pressure situation, and I think there's a really good chance of both things happening. Really good? I think there's a good chance. I do look at the Cardinals and their situation and think, you know what, they just got smoked by the Lions. Kyler Murray's slumping. DeAndre Hopkins lost for the season. We've lost too many good players again for the season in the NFL, and that hurts them big time. But
another game though in the regular season for him to be healthier in the playoffs, he'll be back.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Thank goodness. Yeah. Nice sarcasm there.
Thanks.
I just feel like they might respond, but you know what? The Colts are playing so well right now. That's going to be a really good game, I think. So, yeah, it's very possible that it's a tie, a technical tie with the Titans still having the edge and 2 games to play. And then you're talking about, if the Colts get through this, the Colts, they've got 2 light games to finish, don't they? They've got the Raiders now.
You never know with them, man.
You don't know. Yesterday it looked like the Browns were getting it done, and then Derek Carr comes out with some huge throws after throwing the terrible pick. But then they get the Jags to finish. They're probably going to win those 2 games. So, but I still think the Titans are probably going to win their last 2, and that's why I just can't see it. I still can't see it. They are going to have extra time to prepare for the Dolphins and to rest for that game, the last home game of the season. And if they get swept by the Texans, then they deserve to not be in the playoffs, and then I'd give them a 3-year ban for the playoffs. Give them a show cause. Keep them out of the playoffs the next 3 years if they get swept by the Texans this year. How about that?
It's Davis Mills.
Yes. It's going to be all Davis Mills all the time.
Can you imagine if that game actually means a lot for the Titans?
Well, I was waiting and seeing on going because, it's like if it's meaningless, but I just booked everything. Yeah. Because there's a lot of things that could happen that day. Yes, it could be the pressure of you have to win to win the division. You could still be in play for the 1. If they win Thursday, that's also still possibly on the table. And it also could be, a return of someone kind of important too.
Yeah, I would say so. It's amazing. You look at the playoff picture right now. Kansas City's the 1, New England 2, the Titans at 3. Right now the matchup would be you've got the Patriots that'd be taking on the Bills. It would be Titans Chargers and then Bengals Colts right now. The standings are quite something in the AFC. Oh, by the way, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Browns, and the Broncos all at 7-7 as well. So right now that tie for the Steelers at 7-6-1, keeping them ahead of the Raiders, the Dolphins, and the Browns at the moment, and the Broncos.
Yeah.
By the way, has anybody heard about Teddy Bridgewater? Because he left the game and
I think they said he was going to be fine, but they just left him in the hospital to monitor him for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That guy's had some scary injuries, man.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean, the injury he had when he was with the Vikings was devastating. Yeah, so he was released after the head injury. So he's in there. I mean, a lot of those teams, like I've been a non-believer in them. I don't buy the Dolphins. They're coming in here soon. I think that, good for them to go from, I mean, it was like, whoa, are they going to get the first, are they going to be like right there with the Jags? Good for them. They're okay.
Right now, the Ravens are out of the playoffs, by the way.
8-6, and they're out of the playoffs. So, yeah, and they could be in a that's the thing, like the Titans, Jets and Texans and this last game, but I mean, if you're the Ravens, look at some of the games they've lost. I mean, 2 of them came down to one play, and they chose to bring it down to one play, which there's a lot of talk about that this week. I think it was absolutely the right decision.
It was interesting. I went back and watched the 2-point play for the Ravens yesterday, and they went to Mark Andrews in the corner, and it was a good play by the Packers to break it up. You look back over the middle, Hollywood Brown is wide open. He's just wide open, standing there. And Huntley, who, by the way, Tyler Huntley looks pretty good.
Yeah.
The quarterback for the Ravens. Never saw him.
So this actually, I was going to make this point earlier to a texter on Tannehill, because I see a lot of people talking about, move the pocket, roll them out. And I think there's value in that for sure. I mean, if you are just getting played like an accordion, sometimes you got to just move outside the pocket, and obviously Tannehill's mobile.
Yep.
But what that does, it also cuts the field down for you, right? And I didn't love the play from the Ravens, because it's like, okay, so you're basically like, if that doesn't work out, you're probably toast.
The rollout near the goal line, when it's already tough to throw the ball anyway, drives me insane. Like, it just, especially,
it works sometimes.
It works sometimes, and you do give yourself an option to run if you're the quarterback there too.
Right.
So there are parts about it that can work, but you're basically taking the field that's already difficult to throw the ball into and cutting it in half.
Well, and when you talk about running, I mean, they scored the touchdown on a straight drop back play because he had the middle of the field to run in too.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's pluses and minuses to it. I'm not saying that shouldn't be utilized. I'm a big fan of mixing things up. Like I agree with what Paul said earlier, Kaharski said earlier about, are they running enough rub routes and stuff like that? Can they try some different things? I mean, I think Todd Downey's got to be in the lab, right, trying to come up with anything creative he can come up with right now, especially if he's not going to have A.J. Brown Thursday.
Well, but even if he does, like, not just creative to get other guys open and to be able to have options to throw the ball, you got to get creative with A.J. Brown too. Like, put him in the slot, put him in the back, like, do whatever you got to do with A.J. Brown to get him the ball on Thursday. Like, if he can play, you got to feed that guy.
A.J. Brown Wildcat?
Hey, I don't hate it, man.
I don't hate it.
No? Can he throw?
I don't know. I don't know that I've seen him throw a football. I mean,
well, I bet the Niners haven't seen him throw a football, so we'll see what happens.
Foreshadowing.
We'll continue the discussion on the Titans. Got more of your thoughts to get to on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Bowl season is the best season, and ESPN The Game Nashville is your home for college football bowl games and the college football playoff, brought to you by 312 Pizza Company in Germantown and Central Barbecue. 312 Pizza Company is the perfect spot to catch every game during the bowl season. And for a list of games carried on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9, hit up our website at thegamenashville.com/bowl games. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center,
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Today is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Also going to be a cloudy day with a couple isolated sprinkles possible as highs head up near 50 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Hey, it's Chase McKay. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, welcomes you with the lock of the year. So pay attention. All you have to do is place a $10 moneyline wager on any pro football game. And if any team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your bet's outcome. That easy. Just use the bonus code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet. Enjoy football like never before with BetMGM's live betting options and boosted odds specials at your fingertips all season long. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if any pro football team scores a touchdown. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Preds fans, join us for Smashville Live tomorrow on 1025 The Game. The show will air on Wednesdays during the Preds season from 6 to 7 p.m., featuring Preds players, former players, and other special guests. You can watch the show via 1025 The Game's Twitch, Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. So be sure to join us this hockey season for Smashville Live, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Live from the Hillside Medical Game studio, we'll be joined by our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports coming up to begin the 9 o'clock hour, so looking forward to that. Right now, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Steven texting in, who was the genius who decided to give us the Washington game instead of the Rams game? So both games tonight taking place at 6 o'clock. I guess according to Steven, we have the Washington-Philadelphia game. I would much rather have the Seahawks-Rams game.
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting – I mean, there's no real it's like 50-50 to me on, like, which Nashville would get. There's no real reason for either of them.
Right.
But, yeah, I think most people would just probably rather watch the other one. But, hey, NFC East rivalry. Yeah. Get excited.
The football team.
Yeah. WFT.
Yeah. Go watch Taylor Heineke play some quarterback. I mean, is he playing? I don't know. He got put on the COVID list. Is he back? I have no clue.
And if he's not, who's the QB?
I don't know. I haven't kept up much with the Washington football team as of late.
I try generally not to watch NFC East football. The Cowboys are fine. I still don't buy the Cowboys either. But
Number 2 seed right now in the NFC. Dallas Cowboys.
We'll see.
Randy texting in. Do you think the Titans should or would, if they lose the next two, still make the playoffs? Do you think they go ahead and shut down Derrick Henry and AJ to make sure they're totally 100% going into the playoffs with what they have? If they lose the next two,
They already shut down AJ. I mean, when he's healthy, he's going to play.
Right. Like Henry is just, can he get back and play or can he not?
If he's healthy, he's going to play. But so if they lose the next two, you're talking about 9-7.
Yeah.
I think 10-7 will get in. I think. I mean, if you go by like I don't even know who gets credit for the percentage of playoff next gen or whatever. They're like at 96% right now. So even if they lost the next two and then won at Houston, they probably get in as a wild card.
Depending on what the Colts do too. Colts could lose two and you still win the division.
Good. Yeah,
unlikely, but good.
I'm guessing the Colts. I mean, that's the thing. You could lose the next two, and if the Colts just lose to the Cardinals, you still are going to win the division. But the Colts winning out wouldn't surprise me either. Go to 11-6. You go 10-7. Right now you got the Ravens at 8-6. You got the Bills at 8-6. There's a glut of teams. I think you'd probably still get in. It'd truly be amazing if the Titans, after all this, don't get in the playoffs.
Yeah. Taylor from Fort Campbell texting in. What do y'all think about the Bengals? Right now, Bengals 4 seed in the AFC. Big win the other day. They're at 8-6. They're leading the division in the AFC North at the moment.
Only because of Derek Carr and the Raiders, because it would be the Browns. The Browns would have been first in the AFC North and fourth in the AFC. Instead, they are last in the AFC North and 12th in the AFC because of one kick.
That division's crazy.
It really is.
I don't know that there's a great team in that division. They're all pretty good. Like the Steelers, I still think are the worst team.
The Steelers are the worst team. They're the worst team. The Ravens are still, you just watched them play your team. I mean, they still have a lot to offer. They get Lamar Jackson back. They're dangerous, but they're also really banged up too. I mean, that's other than the Titans, right? And the Ravens have more season-ending stuff than the Titans did to key players. The Browns, I still think, are very talented, and if Baker Mayfield were to come back and play well, what do you think of the Bengals was your question. I like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow a lot.
They're ahead of schedule.
I like Jamar Chase a lot. They are ahead of schedule. I think back, a game that I watched a lot of was the Browns going into their place a few weeks ago and just kicking their butts up and down the field. Even the Niners game, great fight by the Bengals to come back, and they really should have won that game. But they got out physicaled for a lot of that game too. So, they're good. I think they're probably going to get in. And Burrow is Burrow could be special. Absolutely.
Well, their wide receiver core is pretty darn good. And it's young too. So it's going to get better. I mean, when you have Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, all three of those guys pretty good.
No doubt.
They got some good weapons offensively. And Joe Mixon having a great year too.
Mixon is very good. But I should have looked at their schedule before I said they're probably going to get in, because they have the Ravens at home, huge game.
They've already beat the Ravens once.
They have. They have the Chiefs at home, huge game. And again, if the Titans win Thursday, circle that one.
Yep.
Because that's your best bet to get back ahead of the Chiefs in the seeding order, and then they finish at Cleveland. So. 8-9 still on the tail of the band. It's going to be wild. I mean, you can go through a lot of these teams. Yeah, you got the Bucks who just have a vacation the rest of the way, but there's a lot of teams here that just have a lot of toss-up games left.
Ben on the text line. Tannehill was throwing picks before Henry got hurt this year, and when Tannehill didn't turn it over in the playoffs, he might as well have, because he didn't step up when Henry got stuffed versus the Chiefs and the Ravens. He needs everything to be perfect around him, which is unrealistic in the NFL. 3 more years, yay. That's coming from Ben on the text line.
I'm thinking Ben's a little down on Tannehill, huh?
I think Ben's been down on Tannehill for a while.
Yeah. I don't think, again, you go through the last 2 years, things weren't always perfect. And he had some tremendous games. There were games where Tannehill was the best thing about the Titans.
Yep.
There were. But, of course, he benefited greatly from Derrick Henry and from A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, and an offensive line that, again, to me is just the biggest disappointment about this season. As PK said, as we've been saying the whole year, like they're just, as a pass blocking group, it's been bad. But I agree with anybody who says Tannehill still has to rise above that. I mean, you're still paying him $30 million to be at least a very good quarterback in the NFL, and at times he hasn't been. And that's a good point about the picks. Even in camp, he was throwing some picks, and it was kind of like, okay, taking some chances. But something in everything they're doing, and maybe it's him and Downey. Maybe there's, he and Arthur Smith had a thing on a weekly basis that led to some really good stuff on Sundays, and he doesn't have that with Todd Downing. That's possible. But whatever it is, he has had way too many risky throws this year compared to the first 2 years.
Well, some of them just don't make sense, right? I mean, it's just not seeing guys, or I guess trying to force things. I don't know. But, I mean, he gifted a pick on Sunday against Pittsburgh that just got dropped. I mean, he threw it right to him. And that's happened way too often this year. I mean, you're talking about once or twice a game where he's hitting the defenders in the hands. That's not good. And some of that just comes from, I don't know if he's not seeing guys drop, or if he just knows that the margin for error for these wide receivers is so small that sometimes you're just going to have to gun it in there and see if you can get it to make a play. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Tannehill there, but the either not seeing guys or seeing them and not caring anyway has been a little weird with Tannehill this year.
Well, and I think it was Ron, but somebody on the text line earlier said, it reminds him of Mariota, I almost said. Oh, boy. Mariota. Reminds him of Mariota and how he was later in his – and I would not go there. I think Mariota later in his career, I remember 2019, beginning of the season, terrible pass pro then too, with Noah Lewan and Jamil Douglas at right guard and all that stuff. He saw ghosts all over the place. And
Tannehill's not doing that.
No, Tannehill's in fact, I would argue Tannehill at times is just hanging in there too long. But maybe that does explain some of what you're talking about, which is just the snap decision to throw over the middle when you didn't see the linebacker drop. Maybe the clock has sped up to create some of those bad decisions. Because he just made so few of those bad decisions the last 2 years.
Chad on YouTube says, there's no middle ground in him having his starters and having guys who have been with the team a week. People act like he's just missing a star player or two. These are literally pedestrians on the field with Tannehill.
So now we got the other side of the Tannehill argument.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And Josh Reynolds.
In fairness, Cody Hollister, not a pedestrian. He's a pretty good sized guy.
He's a good blocker.
We know how important that is.
No, I mean it's
can't play receiver for the Titans apparently if you can't block.
That's right. But I mean,
get out of here, Josh Reynolds.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Josh Reynolds right now, and Josh Reynolds was the guy that I thought was going to be there's the guy, the third guy who will get vertical for you some. Yeah. But then Marcus Johnson, remember that when we talk about how did they lose Josh? Remember, Marcus Johnson was also ahead of him. I think largely because Josh Reynolds was hurt during camp, but they had a few guys who were ahead of him, and now they're all gone. They're not all gone, but I mean, most of those last game, no Julio, no AJ, no Marcus. Who else?
I mean, Cam Batson. Just think about Cam Batson right now.
How about Cam Batson? Yeah. There you go. Sure. He was making plays.
Yeah.
They trust him absolutely, and he has justified that trust. Gone. I'm forgetting someone else.
I don't remember who you've listed at this point.
But it's a bunch. The point is, yeah. No, it's a bad deal. And chemistry does matter. Like think about 2 years ago when it was like, gosh, Tannehill and Corey Davis just don't quite have that chemistry. It took them like half a year. Then they got it. It's not a snap of the fingers.
When we come back, we'll be joined by our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. Get his thoughts on all things NFL, a wild week that, in a couple instances, still going on tonight in the NFL. All that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hanging out in Hawaii. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram.
Vanderbilt men's basketball is getting settled in Honolulu, where the Doors will play Hawaii to begin their run in the Diamond Head Classic on Wednesday night. The team practiced on Monday and visited Pearl Harbor in the afternoon. Junior guard Scottie Pippen Jr. is enjoying the trip with his teammates, but not the first time he's been here.
Yeah, I had a high school tournament out here, Me and Terry and Frank, a couple years ago, probably 2-3 years ago, we're out here.
What's the coolest part of being in Hawaii?
Just hanging out with the team, walking down the strip, and just team bonding.
Pippen became the 50th member of Vanderbilt's 1,000-point club with a 3 early in that win over Austin Peay back on Saturday. Commodores are 6-4 on the season. A late-night start Wednesday Central Time, 11 o'clock. The Vanderbilt will play either BYU or South Florida on Thursday night. Early tip-off for the Vanderbilt women's team today in Philadelphia against St. Joseph's. 11 a.m. start. Shea Ralph's group is 7-5. The Hawks are 4-6. Less than 2 months out from the start of the Vandy Boys season, the Commodores are ranked number 2 nationally in collegiate baseball's preseason poll. Texas is number 1, LSU 3rd, Texas Tech 4th, and Stanford number 5, who will be here before you know it. That's the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Need a new roof? Get a roof built with integrity from E2 Roofing. E2 is a veteran-owned and operated local roofer with 95 5-star Google reviews and Better Business Bureau A+ rating. E2 Roofing is a veteran-owned and operated local roofer with 90 5-star Google reviews and Better Business Bureau A+ rating. E2 assists customers with roof repair and replacements through insurance claim assistance. Find out if insurance will pay for your new roof with a free inspection at e2roofingnashville.com.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction today and get your love life back just in time for the holidays. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's Robby and Rexrode with Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank, conveniently serving Middle Tennessee with 13 locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Tuesday morning. And as we do every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. Charles, what's going on? How are we doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing this morning?
We're great. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. Charles, as you might imagine, it's semi-panic time in Titanland based on the loss to the Steelers. Apparently they cannot complete a forward pass anymore. We spent so much time talking to you about Ryan Tannehill and being underrated in the league, and obviously there's a ton of injuries and things that are going wrong around him right now. What's been your view of Tannehill, and why do you think he's struggling as much as he is so far this year?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, the skill positions all season long have been injured. I mean, you take Derrick Henry off the team. You have, the Julio experiment, unfortunately, has not worked out the way that I think anybody thought it would. He looks more like sort of the guy who ended up in Atlanta than, someone who was ready to sort of have a second wind in his career. And the offensive line's been banged up. I guess if you're sitting there and you're saying, look, I want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, it's just that all the pieces around him have been shuffled so much. But it is the NFL too, and you can't have the turnovers. I mean, it was interesting kind of watching Tony Dungy on Sunday night really go in on Tannehill pretty hard, just about, talking about the 13 turnovers and the 3 losses in the last 4 games. And I thought it was interesting, though. I don't know, someone on a broadcast, I heard them say, well, this isn't a Derrick Henry problem. It is a Derrick Henry problem, because when you take away the guy who creates the identity for a team and then you have to lean into a passing game, that creates all the opportunities for Ryan Tannehill to make mistakes, whether it's, fumbling snaps, whether it's throwing interceptions, whether it's, putting more balls in the air that, either are sailing, getting picked off, or bouncing off guys' hands. It's just shifting the team into an area where, you don't want to have Ryan Tannehill carry the team for a long time. And, look at the Colts right now. Everyone's on the Colts. Everybody loves the Colts. You know what the Colts don't want to do? They don't want to shift the offense onto Carson Wentz. And Tannehill's a better player than Carson Wentz. But I still think it's the same when you talk about the identities of the two teams. It's still the same situation. Tannehill, when he's had his positive moments, he's still not a player that I think you've ever wanted to have your offense completely built around and said, that's the guy that's going to take us to the Super Bowl. No, you take Tannehill to the Super Bowl. You can do that, but you don't want to have to shift everything on him and then, also say, hey, make up for everybody else around you who's banged up or injured or not playing well.
So you mentioned the Colts. I look at the Colts kind of like I look at the Niners, Charles, teams that had early season trouble and injuries, but really rounding to form and probably dangerous non-division winners in the postseason. Specifically with the Niners, what are you seeing there? I mean, is this a team?
To the Titans when we watch the Titans knock off the Ravens and beat the Patriots and have a postseason run and really feel like they were hitting their stride at the right time. That's kind of what the Colts are right now, and what they are is very similar to like sort of the peak Mike Vrabel teams. Is it's a running team where they play very good defense. They have a great defensive coordinator in Indianapolis. But again, they do have the fundamental flaw that when you look at them, you're like, okay, they win a lot of games when they don't have to lean a lot of the offense on Carson Wentz. And at some point, what's going to happen when that has to change? And can Carson Wentz come up big in spots in the postseason and win a game or two for the Colts down the stretch? I don't know if that's going to be the case. And look, they're playing really well now. There's no doubt they're in a groove. They've beaten what you would presume to be a lot of playoff teams. You look at Buffalo, Tampa. They lose to Tampa Bay, but I mean they played Tampa Bay really tough. They trounced Buffalo. To beat the Patriots. It's an imperfect season. I'm curious now to see Week 16, versus the Cardinals. I kind of thought, well, that's the referendum on, whether or not the Colts can be, a team that can make a full-on Super Bowl run. Now, I don't know. I mean, the Cardinals lose to Detroit, and I don't know what this is. Just
why is that funny?
There's no team anymore that we can't count on anybody. So, I guess, for the Colts, that is one of the upsides of this season that I don't know that really there's anybody. We're back to Kansas City, now thinking that maybe this is the team that's the best team in the AFC. But, I don't look, I'm not a big fan of teams that sit there and go, well, we hope we don't have to have our quarterback have to play a big game or throw 30 passes or 35 passes in a game in this era of the NFL. It's the same reason I kind of, I get killed because I said, hey, Mac Jones, I don't know what's going to happen if you get into the postseason and the Patriots got to make a run. What's going to happen when Mac Jones has to throw 40 times in the playoffs? And people, jumped on me because they're like, look at these games where he's throwing 40 passes in the regular season. I'm like, haven't we learned that particularly the tail end of a season and the postseason is not like the regular season. Well, what happened when Mac Jones had to throw against the Colts? Well, we saw, it was a playoff, caliber game, and he made some mistakes, and it cost them. Carson Wentz is going to do the same thing to the Colts. So, it's as much as I like the Colts, I don't like teams that have rookie quarterbacks or guys that you're afraid to throw.
Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Charles, how big a deal in your mind is the loss of Chris Godwin for the season for the Bucs with the ACL injury?
I mean, he's a Robert Woods-esque loss. We saw the Rams and how big of an impact that was. I think the question now becomes, can Antonio Brown sort of fill that spot? We've seen Odell Beckham Jr. expand his role with the Rams, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, it looks like you've got a guy there who can step in and fill some of that void. Now we have to see if Antonio Brown can do that. I think it's more likely that Antonio Brown can step in and do it for the Buccaneers. But, I mean, you're talking about it's just a massive, deep part of the field guy you're losing, big locker room guy. They cast a little bit of a pall over the team because you have guys in that locker room sitting there going, man, this guy was, headed to free agency. He'd come back on the, the franchise tag and was setting himself up. And then this knee injury happens. And, I think guys from a business standpoint are really bummed out for him. I think, the coaches are bummed out for him. He's a great locker room guy for them. And frankly, it puts the Buccaneers into a spot where I kind of joked that Antonio Brown, had all the leverage despite the vaccination card stuff and the suspension. I was like, oh, he's holding all the cards because they need him. Well, now he's dealing too. he's holding the cards. He's dealing the cards. He's running the casino because they need that guy more than ever. And I guess if you're the Buccaneers, the plus is he's absolutely still a star caliber player. He's got a great relationship with Tom Brady. And this is probably exactly the kind of scenario that Antonio Brown is going to thrive on, because he's sitting there going, okay, this is my shot to come back in, star the rest of the season, potentially be the number one wideout on this team because Tom trusts him that much. And, oh, by the way, in his mind, he's always thinking, okay, now I'm going to go next free agent contract. I'm going to sign another big deal. even though, his career is what it is now, I know, his thought process is always, I'm about to win everything and go out and score another big deal. So it's weird how the NFL works, man, just to see a guy who, you would have thought when the whole vaccination card thing happens, you're like, geez, I can't imagine something that makes the guy more cuttable than this. And instead it's the exact opposite. He's in the best position he's been in since probably he signed that contract with the now the Las Vegas Raiders.
And that history has changed, according to Bruce Arians. So
yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Here's the thing, though. At least Arians was honest. Okay, like he could have, said, made up a bunch of stuff, but he said the truth. It's what's best for the team, and I don't care what people outside think. That's the truth. It is what's best for the team. He didn't lie about it. And I think when we talked about before, and I made the joke about, hey, Tom Brady's not going to cut him. That's what it was going to come down to. They just want to win a Super Bowl. They want to repeat. That's it, period. And so they'll put up with all his stuff. And I'll give Arians, he did say one thing that is true. He said, hey, history has changed since he got here. I made the comment about, he told Peter King, it's sort of, he makes one mistake and he's gone. Well, there's also been a new, period of history where he's been, under their roof. Arians has coached them. He has not been problematic for them since he's gotten there. So in Arians' mind, he says, well, hey, he influenced the ability to give himself a little bit of leeway here. But I think the most honest statement he made was, look, what's best for the team? And this is the NFL, folks. It's always going to be like this. It's the same reason why, they basically just cancel COVID testing. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's always going to be what's best for the team, the operation moving forward, and winning games, making money. It's the corporation. Just live with it. It's how it functions.
Well, that was my next question, actually, on the COVID pivot, let's call it. What do you think of that, and where do you think things are headed?
The new honor system.
Yeah, there you go.
For the most part, I mean, it's the vaccination cards are an honor system. Like, we're hoping nobody fakes them. Now it's like, hey, if you feel like you might have COVID, hopefully you tell us. It's not surprising to me because really interesting last week. So it was before Monday Night Football kicked off. I called around and I talked to some different front offices, GMs, about more about the Rams, and kind of I was like, hey, we're going to see a game tonight where this looks like it's going to be a playoff game, and the Rams are missing some guys. And it was funny because you had these teams. It was like everybody I talked to, there's very blasé about it. Hey, people are living their lives. There's going to be some positive tests, whatever. And then it just exploded, and it was interesting because one of those front offices I talked to was one of these teams that got racked, and it just how the attitude shifted from, hey, guys are just living their lives, we're going to have to deal with this, and then it turned into, I think, from not only the teams but also the players, just let's just stop. Like, enough. Guys seem to feel like they're healthy. Why are we have asymptomatic players who are sitting on the sidelines and they could be out there playing. Someone from the union said a great thing to me. They said, you know what, the football people won. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, the football coaches and the players won. Like, this is what they wanted, and you can only stand in their way for so long. And the union's sitting there just flabbergasted because they're like, we just fought for this for so long to try and test and keep people safe and do everything we could. And I think what was most interesting in all this was the union felt like the players turned on. Like, and someone used the word mutiny. They're like, we've almost had a mutiny here where players are just like, we don't want this anymore. We don't want anything. We don't want any protocols. We don't want any testing. We basically don't want to talk about COVID ever again. And the union's just sitting there like, what do we do in this situation where the membership's just completely turned? And the reason why, not only the games were postponed, but also we've seen this big change, is because you had players who are like, okay, if we're going to keep doing this and you're going to sideline a bunch of us who feel like we can play, we're just not going to go out and play. The Rams players had a conversation last week about, we're not going on the field. We're just not going to go on the field. We're not going to play. And that's as close as you've ever seen to a team, like a little mini strike, like a strike. And, the league office, they can trot Sills out there and say whatever they want, Dr. Sills, and here's what the science is, and here's how things change. But at the end of the day, the league office is sitting there going, we can't have this. We can't keep suspending guys, or not suspending, we can't keep sitting guys down with COVID positive infection who are asymptomatic, say they can go out and play. And now these guys are like, okay, well, if you're going to sit us all down and we have to roster a team of 35 guys effectively, we're just not going to go out there anymore. That's how this is going to be. So that's how we ended up where we are. I think I saw a doctor after this came down and said, you know what this means is everybody in the NFL is going to end up with Omicron. Everyone's going to end up with COVID. This is what's going to happen. And whatever the fallout is from that, I guess history will look back and reflect on it. I don't disagree with that. I think it's probably a reality that most everybody in the NFL, just considering most people are now vaccinated, people are on the honor system and can get Omicron and can spread it, will do so. And they'll spread it to unvaccinated players, they'll spread it to staffers, and we'll see. We'll see ultimately what happens in the long run. But I guess we went through all this to get to this point. It's sort of an interesting time in history with the NFL, and I'm very curious to ultimately see where they look stacked up against some of these other leagues that are saying, hey, we're going to pause the season or try to continue to limit this thing.
Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports has been our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Joins us every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. Charles, thanks as always. Hope you and your family enjoy this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Have a safe and happy holidays, guys. I really appreciate it. And everybody listening as well, I hope everybody enjoys it and stays safe. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks,
buddy.
Charles. We appreciate you. Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. We'll come back, react a little bit to what Charles had to say there. Welcome your thoughts as well on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Breaking news. The Nashville Predators have had their next 3 games postponed due to COVID and will be shut down at least through the end of the NHL's holiday break on December 26th. Keep it locked here for the latest from Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Save up to 70% off Ashley Furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads of the best selection of furniture. Get your nightstands, mattresses, bar stools, sofas, and recliners. All on sale now. Come first for the best selection of furniture before it's gone. And you don't want to miss out. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is here to serve you. Is your AC or heating unit old and inefficient? Is it breaking down yearly? Now is the time to replace it. Waiting can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Just like everything, the cost of a new AC unit is rising. Effective January 1st, all manufacturers are increasing prices up to 10%. Get ahead of the game and call Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, offering 60 months, no interest financing, and 10-year parts and labor warranty on all new units. Schedule now at springhillac.com or call 615-778-8855.
Do great prices and selection on trucks and SUVs still exist? They do in Truckville. Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville has the largest selection in Tennessee. And we keep getting fresh stock on our lots every day. We're committed to offering you our best price and a 5-star experience, which is why we're still known as the destination for trucks and SUVs. Come visit Truckville, Tennessee today in person or online at sarahnashville.com.
When Nashville is in need for tire sales or service for their business, the Tire Man has been there for over 20 years to help. The Tire Man repairs new and used tires for construction equipment, dump trucks, 18-wheelers, box trucks, fleets, plus they sell new tires for vehicles of all sizes. When your company needs tires, call the Tire Man, 615-663-6040, where they come to you, fully licensed and insured, and they can't wait to work with you. That's the Tire Man at 615-663-6040.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Go to theGameNashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. This week's new deal is Downtown Dollars gift card for $150 that's only $100 to you. The gift card is redeemable at hundreds of downtown Nashville shops with restaurants and more. With Downtown Dollars, you get more to spend at an old favorite or discover one of the many new destinations in downtown's growing neighborhoods. Check out all of Nashville's best deals now at theGameNashville.com/deals. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025 The Game. We are live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Robby and Rexrode brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Now with 2 locations in Murfreesboro. Visit their brand new Murfreesboro location at 2019 Memorial Boulevard. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We're going to be joined here in about 8 minutes or so by Chris Mason, Preds TV analyst. Looking forward to that conversation coming up. Thanks to Charles Robinson for joining us in the last segment. Does the Chris Godwin injury change the way you view Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers? They were relatively healthy heading into the playoffs last year. They got on a roll. Chris Godwin, obviously a big part of what they do. You do have Antonio Brown to come in, which is a luxury most teams don't have. Mike Evans with a hamstring injury, I would assume by the time the playoffs are around, he'll be back and ready to go. So how much does the Chris Godwin injury change the way you view that team? Does it at all?
Yeah, well, definitely. No, it changes it. I mean, he's been their best receiver this year, period. So, and Mike Evans, a little bit of a disappointing season, I guess. So he's going to have to do more. Antonio Brown's going to be huge. If they didn't have Antonio Brown, if there was a different decision made earlier on Antonio Brown or something, they'd be in tough shape. So good for them that they've got Antonio Brown. He's a talented player, very talented.
Like the idea of a big contract for him, it's not going to happen, right? Nobody's getting Antonio Brown a big contract.
I mean, I don't know. There was a few years ago we thought Tyreek Hill was going to be out of the league. So
he's 33.
Yeah. Big. I guess it depends on what your definition of big is, but some kind of deal. Yeah, I guess I'm a little down on Mike Evans. I mean, 64 for 900 yards. Godwin, is 98 catches, 1,100 yards. Between them, 16 touchdowns. You're losing a lot with Chris Godwin. Brown steps in there. He's going to have a bigger role. You still have, obviously, Gronk and Brait. I mean, the backs are good. What was the Fournette injury again? They had so many the other night.
Was his hamstring or was his knee? I can't remember. I need to go. I'll look it up.
I mean, Godwin, obviously, it turns out to be worst case scenario, and that was borderline dirty hit too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brady is not happy about it.
It was I don't think he was targeting the knee, but it was a very hard low hit that can create stuff like that. So it was borderline.
Well, Brady was talking about, I guess he was on some podcast talking about, you can't hit a quarterback in the knee, or you can't hit a quarterback low, can't hit a defensive back low in a block anymore, but receivers just get tagged in the knee all the time. I mean, I hear what he's saying there, and Collinsworth was talking about this on the broadcast Sunday night of, go ask any player, they'd rather get hit right in the head than in the knee, and I understand that, but you got to be able to hit the receiver somewhere if you're a defender. You already can't hit him high. You got to be able to hit him somewhere. It can't just be you have to hit him in between the numbers every time.
No.
But you're not going to be able to play defensive football.
No, but I mean, with a quarterback, for example, even if you just go wrap up the legs, that can be a penalty. But you can do that to a ball carrier instead of helmet to the knee.
Right.
That caves in makes his leg bend back the other way. I mean, it's, yes, it's all geared to help the offense, but there is safety as part of it too. But no, as far as the Bucs, I still think that they're going to be right there. Their defense is still good. They're going to be right there. I think we're looking at Bucs Packers again, and I'm going to guess the Packers get them this time. To your excitement, but we'll see.
It is exciting. I'm still very nervous.
Well, you should be. It's not supposed to be easy, man.
The Pharaoh, he scares me, man. I'll be honest. Seen that guy a lot of times in the playoffs play pretty well. It's pretty good.
Yes. No, he's the GOAT who just scored no points in a game, but
he did move down on Rexrode's list this week from number 1 to number 5, I believe is what you told me before the show. Is that where you have him? 5?
No, I've got him number 1. Okay. Come on. Dan Fouts was underrated, though.
Dan Fouts is a great quarterback. Need to get him back on the show. We hadn't talked to Dan Fouts in a year.
I know. He probably misses that. I thought we were going to do a regular segment with Dan Fouts.
When we come back, we'll switch gears. We'll be joined by Preds TV analyst Chris Mason. That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Titans touchdown. Niners slicing for 6. Nashville's team is back home for a primetime matchup against San Francisco. Tune in Thursday at 5 for NFL pregame from Boom Baz in East Nashville as Jared Stillman.
They'll still have a pretty good grasp on the division.
Chris Sanders.
Tannehill can't throw interceptions. The one thing that they've done is tackle well.
And Mark Howard get you ready on NFL pregame. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Still working on that Christmas list? Hurry into Electronic Express for your last-minute gifts. Get huge savings with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers, gaming, speakers and headphones, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 40% off all your appliance needs. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got the last-minute Christmas gifts you need at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
The Parker Store at 1909 Nolensville Road in Nashville is the Parker Factory Authorized Store for your Parker hydraulic, pneumatic, water, and chemical hose needs. They stock metric tubing and hose connections to 42 millimeters in size, and they'll fabricate while you wait up to 6,000 PSI hydraulic hoses in a 2-inch size. Call the Parker Store at 615-248-8245 for all the Parker requirements you have. The Parker Store, 1909 Nolensville Road.
Tonight, the NFL invades Tuesday night.
Stafford, Deshaun Jackson, touchdown.
As Matthew Stafford and the Rams host Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
Wilson under immediate pressure, throws end zone, touchdown.
Coverage begins at 6
on ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Hey Nashville, this is David Poyle. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Yo, VIP.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Volunteer State Bank. Real people, real solutions, right here. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And that music can mean only one thing. It's time to go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend, Preds TV analyst Chris Mason. C. Mace, what's going on, brother? How we doing?
Doing pretty good. Just kind of hanging out here with the kids and just enjoying a nice, beautiful morning in Nashville.
That's right, buddy. Well, it's an unexpected week off for us that are in the hockey world, and not something anybody wants to see, but something, unfortunately, that is just a part of the times we're living in right now. What do you make of kind of the way things are going in the NHL right now, the league about to pause through the holiday break, and how do you think this affects things as they move forward here for the rest of the season, trying to be as safe as possible, but also trying to get in 82 games as well?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know anything, obviously, about what's out there right now, but I would think the NHL might go to something similar as the NFL did with their protocols. I'm not sure. I just feel like, sports usually follow each other in a lot of those regards. And, if they find it's good to go and it's safe to do so, because from what I'm hearing, a lot of the players in all these sports are asymptomatic or very, very mild at the most. So I think they're just going to test symptomatic players, but we'll see if the NHL goes that route. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's just been, it's been a wild ride here, and unfortunately, it brings back a lot of memories of a couple years ago, Chris.
Yeah.
But it does seem like this variant is weaker. I mean, that's the one good thing. As far as this particular team and the run they're on right now, I mean, there are much worse things about COVID than, you're on a hot streak and you got to pause. But how could that, I guess, affect the Preds, considering they were playing such great hockey and now they've got to just sit around for a while?
Well, I think it's exactly, they'll have to kind of recreate that. They'll come back feeling good about what they've done, obviously, in the way that they were playing, but it'll have to be, remanufactured, I guess, if that's even a word. But, because that feeling when you're running and you're rolling and you have that energy and that vibe, as Robby would say. And
that's right.
Trademark. Sorry, Robby, a trademark. I owe you for that. But no, but when you have that feeling and then you stop, it's like, well, they're not going to skate, and then they've opened up, I guess, the skating, so we'll skate on the 26th. It's tough, but I guess everyone's got to do it. So it's just a little bit like starting over, though. That's the only tough thing when you're rolling like the Preds were.
See, Mace, I was talking to Adam Vingan about this yesterday, and it's been pretty incredible to watch UC Saros. Like, the conversation I had, talking about Saros heading into the season was, I think he's going to be really good. There's no way to me he can sustain what he did in the second half of last season. And I guess if you look strictly at the numbers, he's not quite there where he was in the second half of last season. He's pretty darn close, though. I mean, the guy is incredible. How has he been able not only to play at this level, but to sustain what he's doing from your eyes?
Because he is really, really good. That's the answer. He's just that good. There's certain guys in the league, and whoever you want to say your top five is, and you put Vasilevsky up there, obviously, and whoever else is in that conversation. But Saros is that good. He is one of the best goalies in the league. Whether you put him on a team that doesn't defend well, or you put him on a team that does, he's just a good goaltender. And I think, we're all starting to see that because of the body of work, the consistency, the role that he's in now. He's going on, almost a full season worth of being a starter, and he's been able to handle that workload. But we know how good he is now, and he's just that good. And that's, is he going to get better? I don't know. How can you get better, really? But I think, and honestly, like, you look at his numbers, and you mentioned, Robby, last season, that second half, that was historic, video game numbers. And now he's, whatever he is, top five kind of numbers. But we watch the game in and out. It's, he keeps these guys in the game. He's just a really good goaltender. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I think back like 5 years ago. Of course, back then it was like, wait, can Saros be protected? In the expansion draft, but he was obviously young, backup, emerging. You could see the talent and the ability, and he's grown since then. But then it's like there was a leap after after the bubble against Arizona. Like, would you say this has just been sort of like steady growth, or has he figured some things out here in the last year and a half, Chris, that have just taken him to another level?
Well, I think it's been like steady growth, and there's always been those pockets where, in his younger years or whatever, when you see him, you're just like, man, this kid's unreal. Like, he's going to be good. But you never know until somebody gets in that role, right? Because it's tough to be, I'd say, consistent all the time when you're playing once every couple weeks or once a week. So there was those little pockets where you're like, oh, okay, he used to get off to slow starts. That was his thing, but he's never really the guy at the beginning of the season. Maybe last year, he'd split with Pekka or whatever, and as the year went on, we know how that went. But I think I feel like I've always felt he is going to be an unbelievable goaltender, just because I can appreciate what he does and how easy he makes the position look. And, that's, to me, is the best guys in the world can make that position look easy when it's not. And he's one of the best in the world at doing that. So, but again, like you said, Joe, you never know until they get into the starting position because mentally it changes the game a lot. So I knew he had the talent, but you never know if he's got the, mental fortitude to handle that, position and that light when it shines bright on you when you're the guy and there's no one behind you. But he's thrived in it, so he's impressive.
Chris Mason, Preds TV analyst, on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. See, Mace, what can you say about Colton Sissons? I mean, obviously, the last 2 games the Preds played on Thursday night last week and Friday, you're dealing with a ton of people out of the lineup due to COVID. Colton Sissons steps up and is basically the number 1 center and has 3 assists on Thursday, scores a big goal on Friday. What can you say about the job that he was able to do and also just that ability to be able to play different roles with a group and not only play them but excel while playing them? How hard is that to do?
Oh, my God. Honestly, there's a lot of storylines this year and a lot of people we talk about, but I really don't think Colton Sissons ever gets the love and the appreciation that he deserves because I just look back at the last few years of this team. Anytime they've dealt with injuries, major injuries, and he gets moved up and down the lineup or whatever the situation, he's always stepping up. He's always making an impact. He's helping them endure whatever situation they have to deal with, whether it was in the playoffs, whether it was before they made that cup run, when they just have a bunch of injuries. He goes up, he goes on the power play, does the penalty kill, he's taking 100 face-offs. Whatever's asked of him, he does. And he's asked, somebody needs to step up and get, score more goals or get more points or create offense. So he does that. He's one of these guys at every level that he's played, his coaches commend his leadership and his ability to step up and be that player. He's, that 200-foot player that can give you whatever you need at any given time. He's just such a valuable piece of this team. And, with all the other good stuff going on, I think sometimes we forget to mention Colton Sissons, but I'm glad you brought him up, and obviously for good reason for what he did the last little while here. So such a valuable player for the team.
No, the production, but then gosh, he played half the last 2 games. Yeah. It's incredible.
Right? That's crazy.
Yeah. So if there's one thing during this time, C. Mace, that you'd like to see them. I mean, they're playing so well, but like to see them tighten up or improve a little bit. What would it be?
Honestly, it's tough because I think they're playing really good hockey right now. I don't think there's a lot to tighten up. Maybe. There's, I guess, on the road trip, that New York swing, they swept it, but I felt like sometimes it took them a while to get going in their game. But, against Chicago, they came out hard, and last couple of games, I just think it's more of the same. And then if you get your bodies healthy and who knows what's going to happen at the trade deadline, I just like this team's makeup and the way they play. I feel there's a lot of teams having success out there that aren't built for playoffs. But I feel this team is they have that makeup, and maybe a couple adds at the deadline or not. I don't know. I think this team could give some teams some trouble in the playoffs. But I would like one thing. Now that I was rambling on there, less stick penalties. I think there's a few too many of those lately. So there it is. That's my.
There you go.
I
like it. I like it a lot. C. Mace, appreciate you taking time to join us this morning. Merry Christmas to you and your family this week. Hope you all have a great time, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Merry Christmas to you. Hope you guys have a great holiday, and all the listeners, you as well. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Chris Mason, Preds TV analyst, former Preds goaltender, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Tuesday morning at 9:30. We'll come back. We'll take more of your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Should start to see skies clearing out from west to east this afternoon as temperatures head to the upper 40s and lower 50s. Cool times return tomorrow.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
It's the end of the year blowout sale at Social Furniture. Closing out on Ashley's Furniture with up to 70% off. First come, first served on the best selection of furniture. Social Furniture has truckloads after truckloads of furniture with 100 loads of closeouts, samples, canceled orders, and discounted orders of Ashley Furniture. All on sale here at Social Furniture. $300 nightstands now $99. $1,000 Ashley mattress now $300. $200 bar stools now for $59. $1,000 sofas now $499. And recliners starting at $299. The best part is there's no waiting. Take your new furniture home today with Social Furniture's same-day delivery. They have 12 months same as cash. Hurry up and come down to Social Furniture's end-of-the-year blowout sale before it's gone. Visit Social Furniture on the west side at 5412 Charlotte Avenue or on the web at mysocialfurniture.com.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller is giving away cash for the holidays, and we are celebrating from now until the end of the year with special deals. They're donating $50 in toys to Toys for Tots with every tankless water heater purchase and giving away $250 Visa gift card with each unit. Get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems, or get a $500 Visa gift card with the purchase of any new whole home generator. More specials online at happyhiller.com. As always, happy you'll be here. The service is free. These deals are only available until the end of the year, so schedule today. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of home ownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas in 1898, they've grown into a nationwide mortgage lender with 141 offices across 45 states, including 3 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at BOE1214.com. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, live from the Hillside Medical Game studio here on this Tuesday morning. It is Christmas week. Michelle coming back in with some Christmas music.
There's going to be a lot tomorrow because it'll be my last day this week. There's going to be a lot of Christmas music tomorrow.
Okay. Can we talk about some that we shouldn't play and some that we should?
Okay, what have we got, Joe? Let's hear it. Do you have any ones that you hate?
Not really, but I have some that people hate that I like. Like, I like the Paul McCartney, Wonderful Christmas Time. A lot of people hate that song.
It's brutal.
Love it.
Brutal.
And also, I like Last Christmas by Wham, and I don't care what you say about it.
Listen, I like all of them.
It's a jam.
I like all of them.
Yeah?
I love the Rudolph one, which I can't think of right now.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Oh, yeah. Well, that I can't think of the tune. I just know I love it.
You want to know the most overrated Christmas song of all time? And I'm going to get crushed for this. I don't even care. All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I can't stand
Robby.
it. It's awful. I can't do it. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm lukewarm on that one. It was what was the movie that was it Love Actually? Yeah, was that the movie that's at the end of?
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of brought it back to really be played a ton, and it's been played a ton.
Maybe that's why
then.
I don't like it, because it's everywhere.
It didn't used to be everywhere, and now because it's not. I mean, it's not new. I mean,
no,
you recorded that a long time ago. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I hate any.
See, then we're gonna have a great day, music-wise, bump-wise tomorrow. Everybody texting your favorite Christmas songs. I'll play them all. Sorry, Robby, that one will be played once.
Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's underrated. Yes. Okay.
Put
good.
it on loop.
Yeah.
Rexrode got run over by a
Wow.
reindeer.
Going immediately
It
to
fits.
Joe.
It fits.
Chris texting in, Little Drummer Boy, 100 thumbs down. Mele Kalikimaka, 100 thumbs up. This is coming from Chris on the text line.
Okay. I would agree that I like that one better than. But come on, Little Drummer Boy. Come on. What's the problem?
I don't know.
Oh, I love the On the First Day of Christmas. That one's good, but it's not really like a song.
The 12 Days of Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm bad with song names, movie names, TV names, all that?
I can't think of Mele Kalikimaka without, it's Christmas Vacation every time.
Oh,
it's just
absolutely.
Clark staring out the window
Oh,
every time.
no.
Imagining the pool. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, great movie. We're getting, I watch it at least once every Christmas. We're getting close. Probably tomorrow night. By the time I toss on some Christmas Vacation.
And
I go through a little movie kick on Christmas time.
Are you also a hater of A Christmas Story too?
No.
Okay,
I
good.
love that movie. In fact, I watched some of it the other day.
Yeah, that one. That people get more and more angry about that movie.
Fragile.
And I don't understand. Yeah, it's classic. Come on. How do you hate that movie? You don't have to watch it all.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it
100
24 hours
times.
straight.
Right, but I'll watch it once a year.
Yeah. There are most Christmas movies I actually enjoy. Most of them. Watched Jingle All the Way the other day with Big Arnold in there.
Yes,
Good stuff.
I haven't seen that one.
Apparently,
No, never seen that
Apparently they made a Jingle All the Way 2 with Larry the Cable Guy. I've not checked that one out yet.
Really?
It's on Christmas on the Disney Plus.
Isn't there like an Ernest
Probably
Christmas
gonna leave
movie
that.
too?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure there's an Ernest.
Ernest everything.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Ernest Christmas.
Nothing
one.
quite compares to Ernest Scared Stupid. It's one of the great movies of all time. Which I believe parts of that movie were actually filmed in East Nashville.
Nice.
More you know.
There you go.
I don't know how we got on Ernest. Santa Baby, awful. Just absolutely terrible. That text that said Santa Baby is unbearable and uncomfortable to listen to. It's not good.
I got no problem at all with that
I
song.
like that one.
Yeah,
Come on.
Good with that. Good
Can't
with
do
that
it.
song.
I think we should just like them all and just be happy that the
we'll see.
holidays are here.
Like everything and like everyone.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do on that.
Glass half full over here.
That's right.
Thanks to C-Mace for coming on with us. If you missed it, NHL is taking a pause. So they are scheduled to play tonight. I think they've got 2 games tonight. They're going to play tonight as long as things go well, and then they're going on pause starting tomorrow through, I believe, the 26th at 2 o'clock is when you can come back in the building. So 2 o'clock, I guess, Eastern time. I haven't looked to see exactly what that looks like. But the Predators are scheduled to play on the 27th, so better have a long, hard skate on the 26th, I guess. It's going on a long time with them not being on the ice.
Lay off those cookies.
Yeah.
It's hard for me, but I'm okay if I hit them. You can't hit them.
That's right. It's a tough one.
The snickerdoodles.
Self-control, Rexrode. Self-control.
It won't be good.
By the way, on that front, on the NHL front, it looks like there's some news on the Olympics. And I don't think this is a big surprise at this point, but Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoff putting it out there. It says, quote, "No surprise, but NHL and NHLPA are in agreement that NHL players will not participate in the Beijing 2022 Olympics. Once they notify the IOC, an official announcement will come perhaps as soon as today, maybe later this week." Now the question is, will the Olympics be postponed to 2023? This is coming from Frank Saravalli. And again, Rexrode, I don't think a huge surprise that NHL players aren't going. Once Connor McDavid started throwing up some red flags, I thought that means some things when Connor McDavid is saying really anything, because he doesn't say anything ever.
Right.
But I paid attention then. It really sucks because you and I have talked a lot about how much fun NHL players in the Olympics are, how much I think it grows the game, and looks like that's not happening this time around.
Yeah, I was really excited about I love Olympic hockey when the pros are involved. It's an unbelievable tournament. Really stinks it's another thing that COVID has taken away, essentially. Now I'm going to assume that Olympic break now becomes makeup game central.
I would
right?
assume so. I mean, you're getting to the point now. There's a lot of games that have been postponed, and the schedule was already pretty tight anyway to accommodate the Olympic break. So I don't know. I really don't know how you make up all these games without using the Olympic break at this point, which is probably a lot of where this decision comes from anyway. I mean, there's the COVID part of it, obviously, and we've talked about the protocols. The idea of getting stuck in China for 5 weeks does not sound fun. Sure. So that's the big part of this, but I'm sure NHL was looking around like, guys, we know we told y'all can go. There's a risk to it. We understand all that, but like you also have a day job, and I don't know how we're going to play these games if y'all go. Like at some point it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, how many back-to-backs can you cram into, March and April? Yeah, so from that perspective, it should make the solutions easier to the issues now, but it's just too bad.
It's too bad, and I guess I've not really thought about the idea of postponing the Olympics to 2023. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, there is way more to the Olympics than just hockey, but I would imagine this is not the only sport in the Winter Olympics that's going through this and making some decisions. So I guess stay tuned on the Olympics front in Beijing as well to see what happens there.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, we saw that happen once already. So that would be tough if the Olympics get moved again. But, hey, I mean, I guess glass half full approach. Hopefully, if it does get moved to 2023, NHL players can go play then, maybe. Well, we'll see.
That'd be the upside I'd look at if it happens. But it's just, you think about the train, there's so much that goes into all of it. So it'd be very disruptive, but that would be one possibility. I'm sure these guys, if you could be in a window of time where it's not, a virus doesn't have a variant that's flying around like it is right now, then they would probably go.
Yeah. We found another Christmas song that I hate. Baby, It's Cold Outside. Can't stand that one either.
Robbie,
apparently there's a lot that I don't like.
Robbie, these are good ones.
It was not good.
See, I actually like that song, but the movie Elf kind of beat that one to death. So that's the thing, is sometimes movies will take a song and overdo them.
I disagree.
You got Will Ferrell, though, singing in the shower. Very bizarre scene. She's just trying to take a shower at work,
Well, on that note, that's going to do it for us today.
I hope you've all seen the movie.
We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Darren Donica Chase up next. This is ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
No, you blew it. That's what happened. It didn't slip away. You blew it.
The voice of the fan.